Just one victory. That's it. Upper Darby's own Todd Rundgren prays for just one victory. It's the Bennington Show. Ron Bennington, Gail Bennington.
Yo.
Ron Bennington. Super Bowl is Sunday. And I'll just say this. Do I want a victory for the Eagles? Yes. Is it for myself? No. It's for that town full of fucking losers. Those misfits. Those never-gots. Let them just have one goddamn taste in their life, okay? I don't want this. I always say, Rocky is my only Rocky movie. Let this be Rocky 2, okay?
Yeah.
Give these slack-jawed knuckle-draggers a Rocky 2.
2 weeks ago, I was feeling like Rocky 1. I just kept saying, I just want to go the distance.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, give me Rocky 2, please.
I'll take a Rocky 2, too.
The distance plus a win, please.
There's never been a town that's waited so long for a championship. Not Cleveland, not Buffalo. It's Philly. If you're going to do something before North Korea bombs us, God, let them just have this day. All right?
Please, for the love of God. Please. The town needs a win.
Anyway, there we have it. Sunday. That's the big day. Now, we're going to have 52 comedians picking today. Chris has put together a special called what?
52 comedians predict the biggest game in sports.
I thought it was game.
Game in sports.
Now, Chris, this is going to play all weekend?
All weekend long. Twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday.
Every
It's
day of
on
the week
demand.
and twice on Sunday.
Exactly.
That's how bad we're going to whip your ass. And then I thought today we would end the show with a guy that I would consider the son of Philadelphia, okay? Big J. Okerson.
Yeah.
We're going to play his Unmasked.
Woo!
A lot of people think it's the best Unmasked that we've ever done because, he and I just had so much fun doing it. I found out a lot about Jay. I felt like I knew a lot about Jay until we got to that. He's going to be watching with some Boston fans. Pretty sure we're going to go straight family in my family. I certainly, for my dad, I would like to see this.
Yeah.
Win. I mean, talk about a guy. He's going to be 91 years old. How many Super Bowls has he celebrated? Oh, I remember 0.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a guy who's watched every Super Bowl in his life.
Let the guy have a great game. Let him have the game of a lifetime.
And make his legs a little stronger. He's really having trouble getting around, finding his balance.
Oh, yeah, if we're in the wishing business.
Take that cancer down a little bit, too. We got the big bonsai contest. We're giving a Trell Owens football away. T.O., again, played with the Eagles.
Former Eagle. Could be a Hall of Famer this weekend. Should be a Hall of Famer this weekend.
Should have fucking won that game, too. I think he was playing with a broken leg or something that day.
He was fucked up.
Okay, he was fucked up.
Yeah.
Thanks for specifying it,
Effing
Chris.
up.
I'm sorry, where'd you learn that term? Medical school?
And that's BANZAI. BANZAI. That's the proper way to spell #bonsai.
Vito, take this parfait that you brought in here and throw it away. I've never liked a parfait in my life, and that's the worst I've ever tasted.
Can I tell you something? Whenever someone tells me it's the worst thing they ever tasted, I have to taste it. Is that weird? Like if someone says this is gross, I'm like, let me try it.
And you don't even want to know about Chris's dick.
That's pretty gross.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
That's pretty gross.
Look, fake chocolate is no way to fucking go. You either have chocolate or you don't.
Yeah,
you don't just take some brown stuff and call it chocolate.
And that's like a weird nut butter, but like not a nut that you normally would butter. I don't know what nut is in there, but...
Let me tell you something. I might be a nut, but I never want to eat that again. Put that on the side of the bag. Chris, is there more stuff you wanted to add with this? Did you get all the facts out?
I did not get all the facts out. So
Okay.
if there is an interception during the game, the first interception, you have to tweet #bonsai, BANZAI, at Bennington Show for a chance to win. You can't tweet it beforehand or you're eliminated. You're not.
And you
you're
can't tweet it afterhand.
not, or
Right,
afterhand.
because
No.
then you just won't get it.
timing. You need to do it as soon as that interception happens.
Both the hashtag and at Bennington Show?
Yes. At Bennington Show, hashtag Bonsai, BANZAI.
Don't forget that, kids. At Bennington Show with your hashtag Bonsai. Bonsai.
Did we win the game? Did we win the Super Bowl?
I think we are going to.
Jen, I didn't ask you. What do you think? I mean, you're kind of magic. You're from Trinidad. You're very, very comfortable with the use of voodoo.
I mean, I like an underdog story.
Yes,
So
that's
that's
us.
why I want. That's why.
Dogs gotta eat. Dogs gotta.
Can I tell you something? I have it in my mind that everyone sees what those fans act like when they win and how animalistic.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that their whole mode of that city will change, and they'll stop being a town of losers and start being little ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that would be great.
And maybe they have a promenade to celebrate.
That's all you need is take a chance on these guys, you know?
One thing I
Lady
learned
Luck.
from Back to the Future is that you could go all the way into the bad fucking town, or you can go into the good town.
Yeah.
All depending on one moment in time.
Please make it a good town.
Please, Mary, Mother of God, please. You claim that you're the Mother of God. Do something once. Make it happen. You're Jesus' mom. You can't do me this solid? No, Mary's always good. But push. Push. Oh, God. Well, is the game over yet?
No.
It has been I can't believe how stressful and long and just like it's just on your mind constantly.
I feel like somebody's going to come over and kick me right in the eyeball. Look, again, I don't want it from me, right? I went to kindergarten for some people I haven't seen in a million years. They're going to be cheering.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
My old neighbors will be cheering. Everybody will feel better about themselves, you know? I'd like to see the fact that Larry Boa could go like this. Wow. We really did do it this year. Anything's possible. I want to do it for the soul of Sally Star. Okay? That's who I want to do it for. Wee Willie Weber. A man who gave me nothing but cartoons and joy when I was a kid. Pixan.
Now my boyfriend had another dream again.
He had a
last
dream.
night.
Let's just say, right before the Minnesota game, he had a dream that Philly was going to win by 30 points.
Why?
And
Yeah.
they won by what, 31?
31.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. Now here's the thing. In the dream, Eagles were leading. But in the dream, he only saw up to the third quarter.
Oh, come on.
Would would he please go back to sleep?
I know. That's what I said.
I wish I didn't even know
Close
about that
your
dream.
eyes.
A beautiful dreamer win us the game. Super Bowl wish. And we were winning?
Yes.
But did he say by how much? 30 again?
No, I think it was a sizable lead. I think it was believe it was like at least 14 points, but
That is not enough.
but it wasn't.
Not enough. For TB12? Is that the name of it? TB12?
TB12 is his philosophy in life.
Cock fuck. Philosophy of life. You haven't even been out of the house in your life.
And all he does is watch tape and go to the fucking gym.
Yeah, he watches tape and then has somebody hold the hose around his neck while he throws.
Oh God.
Well, you know, now he watches tape on the shittiest laptop I've ever seen. I mean, this guy's got money. Giselle's got money. He should have a big tape.
Why does he have a shitty laptop?
Because he doesn't fucking know. He still thinks it's 1997 when he fucking was in college. The last time he paid attention to anything besides football. They're so good. Brady's so good. Belichick's so good. And I don't call them cheaters. I don't call them fucking creeps.
Why?
Gronk, I feel like, is going to end up with a booze problem, but he's a child. It's like seeing a baby drunk. Someone said to me that they kind of think that Gronk is a genius, the way he plays. Like, he is a genius for being a tight end.
I've always, they say he's amazing, but I mean, we've seen him talk. He's not a fucking genius.
Yeah, but you can be a genius at whatever you're a genius at. You know what I mean? Like, you could be a genius at the fucking violin and nothing else. What do you got there, Gil?
I have a little video here. Little Eagles wish. I'm gonna play it for you right
Is it
now.
loud enough for us to hear it?
Let's see.
We're going to the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, oh yeah. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're now.
Wow.
That's a wish right there. That's a child's dream.
I heard that she's been obsessed with the Super Bowl, talking all about it, singing that song. And then she said to her mom, after this going on for a week, hey, what's the Super Bowl? She's adorable. Did you see that other one where she was singing in the back seat?
I didn't see that.
I
one.
love when kids are so, like, they hear pop songs and they just start singing from a baby seat. It always cracks me up. Like, what do you think you're doing? Rocking back there? Well, coming up a little bit, we're going to have 52 comedians pick their Super Bowl winner, who they believe is going to win. Everybody here on the show is saying their prayers for the Eagles, but we haven't heard anything from Chris Stanley. Chris is going to do, you said, an hour before the Super Bowl?
1 hour before the Super Bowl. I might even just tease it on Saturday, too. But 1 hour before the Super Bowl, I will give my pick for the Super Bowl. I'll give a score and a pick.
Now, you have some other things that you want to gamble on, and you want our listeners to gamble with you on.
Yeah, these are the prop bets. The prop bets come out every year here for the Super Bowl. And there's some specific ones to this Super Bowl. And I always like betting on the coin toss. I'm a tails guy.
You just said coin toss.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Well, you picked tails because tails never fails?
Tails never fails.
Yeah.
Okay, smart.
And I feel it's tails' year.
Okay, good.
Like I feel like
All
it's a lock for tails.
All right, how much you putting down on that? $1,000?
$2,000 on tails.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
give us another one.
All right, this is another prop bet that's going around online. Will Pink be airborne for any part of her national anthem?
I'm going to say no because what she did at the Grammys. She just came out in a T-shirt and just sang. It's almost like the new grown-up Pink.
I'm going 100% yes. I think there's no way you're keeping Pink on the ground. That's my bet.
Doesn't that come off as almost like not valuing this thing if you start flying around?
I know, but she's been known to get up there and spin. She's really into, I don't know, like acrobatics or something. I don't know.
Dancing.
You know, she's a Philly girl.
Yeah.
Expect her to get rained with booze with that crowd.
Here's another prop bet. Will Pink say Eagles before or after the anthem?
I hope so, but I hope she says Eagles the correct way it's spelled. What do you think? Will she go Eagles?
I think she will afterwards.
Her whole family would go nuts if she did that. They would love her
I
forever.
know.
I'm saying she does not. I bet the NFL puts a kibosh on that.
They can't stop her. And I'm going to tell you one thing. That's an edgy girl.
I don't think she's going to do it. Now, next, will former Eagles quarterback Donovan McNabb's vomiting incident from Super Bowl 39 be mentioned during the TV broadcast?
Of course it will.
It's going to be mentioned.
Those hacks mention everything over and over. They got nothing. Nothing is spontaneous with them.
They
It's all
love a
fed to
little
them.
factoid. They love a little nugget. They'll definitely go to it.
They'd be happy if everyone in that field died. Maybe I went too far.
No, you didn't. No. Will Justin Timberlake cover a Prince song during halftime?
Probably. I hate him.
He's the worst.
I decided I hate Justin Timberlake after I found out the mean things that he did to Prince.
Yeah, I'm going to say no because he knows that people will be pissed about it.
I hope he covers a Janet Jackson song. Like, here's a career I destroyed by pulling out her tit.
Which number will be higher?
The larger number.
The kickoff temperature in Minnesota or the total points scored in the first quarter?
That's not even a bet worth taking because we're indoors.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 72.
Yeah, who
So
cares?
they're going to take the outside temperature.
Yeah, but guess
but
what?
that
It doesn't
really
matter.
Yeah, I agree. Who cares? They're in a
They might as well
dome.
say, what's the temperature in China? It doesn't matter if this was a
China.
game played out. China. This was played outdoors. Yes. Look, Chris is backing up. You don't know how fucking edgy we are right
Yeah,
now,
I'm
Chris.
feeling
Right.
tense.
I got another one for you.
God, I hate these.
The number of tweets by President Trump
All
on
right, I'm
February
not playing.
4th.
We're done.
Over under is 5.
We're done. I don't care.
3, I guess.
I hope that he goes like this. All those black bastards better step up during the Super Bowl, or I will hunt their black asses down.
Oh my God.
I kind of feel like Trump is a white supremacist. I really do.
Yeah, you think so?
I got an inkling.
How could he be nominated for president then?
No, it's true. All right, you got me there. This is the greatest country in the world. Please, Philadelphia, would you just get one win? One. It could happen on Sunday.
That's all we need.
And people are like, they don't stand a chance. I'm like this. They stand a better chance than the Cowboys.
Yep.
They stand a better chance than the Saints.
Thank you.
The Giants.
Mm-hmm.
They stand a chance. Oh.
It's so stressful.
Let me see when I hang myself.
Don't.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, he's doing it.
You think I should go dead doll eyes or take my eyes out with a fucking spoon? So when they get there, they're like, this isn't suicide.
Did birds get this?
And then I have a note in my pocket. No, it wasn't birds. Next clue.
I think it's the killer from The Alienist.
That movie. And that's what do you call it, series, right? A limited series.
I think it is, yeah, because it is a novel.
Out. What do you think of the guy who is like the playboy around town? He's like a fucking drag on the show to me.
I agree. I haven't really understood yet why he's present. Like, if you take him out of the equation,
nothing changes.
Nothing changes. Mm-mm. You got the alienist, you got the female lead who's a strong, powerful lady.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
What's he doing? He's just kind of the guy who's like, guys, that doesn't sound so safe.
By the way, guys, I'm drunk and rich. Looks like I'm in trouble again.
And like,
he's almost like the girl that gets rescued all the time.
Yeah, I agree. And he's also like, he just like draws. Like, why did he get part of this gang?
He's really good at drawing.
For your drawing skills, you're it.
My superpower is my ability to draw things. Like anyone else.
Too long.
Like any Chinese guy in Central Park? Exactly. I have the powers of a Chinese artist.
It's like, I'm the alienist. I have the inside scoop. And then he's just like, look at this picture I made.
It's me drinking again.
There's a lot of inside alienist humor, so if you guys aren't watching, you're not going to pick up on it.
Looks like I could use a drink. That's his catchphrase. That and glug, glug, glug. This booze is good. You guys don't watch a lot of shows, do you? Oh, Vito watches all reality TV. What do you watch, Chris?
I've been watching shit lately, and I feel like I gotta jump in on The Alienist.
Why don't you just stick with Mommy Vice, the show that you used to watch with your Miami when you were a little kid?
I love this episode of Mommy Vice.
Ew, I don't like the way he says mommy.
No.
Mommy Vice.
He calls his girlfriend that when they have sex.
No!
Why'd you say that? I thought it was between you and me.
Hey, could I give a fun thing about Chris and his girlfriend? And I hope you don't mind me speaking out of school.
It's okay. I trust you.
The only sex they have is anal. And guess what? Chris is getting pegged.
Oh, my God.
I didn't think you'd say that particular part.
Oh, I thought that was something that was... When you told me you wanted me to tell everybody.
No, that's
was that
the
her
opposite.
preference or yours?
Chris, did you sincerely get all 52 of these comedians? We're going to
100%. I have every single one of these 52 comedians is coming up in just a few minutes.
100% true. I didn't help him at all.
Why, Vito?
I just didn't feel like helping him. He coughed in my mouth and I felt sick. So that was my way of paying him back.
Is this not a career that you want?
No, I want this career. I just didn't want to help Chris with the Super Bowl thing.
By not helping Chris, you're not helping the show, you're not helping SiriusXM, and you're not helping, most of all, the city of Philadelphia and their Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. Let's hear that baby sing the Super Bowl song again. I love her.
We're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're down.
I mean, the creativity of that. I mean, she's right.
Are you telling me she wrote that song?
Yeah. That's an original.
Yeah. How did she think it would catch on with everyone?
I also want to tell her, we're not going right now.
What is the Super Bowl? What is the Super Bowl? What is the Super Bowl?
What is this Super Bowl everyone's talking about? You're the one who keeps talking about it.
So cute, right? She's in Hawaii, so that family is so happy to watch the games. They set the clock. And like a weekly 1 o'clock game of the Eagles, they're watching at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
And they get up, they put on their jerseys.
Yep. They're that dedicated. And you're going to tell me they don't deserve a win?
Please. In the land of spam, give them some scrapple. Please, I'm just praying to the Virgin Mary. Because I know everyone's praying to God. Let me get around that and go right to the Virgin Mary. And please give us a win. Do it for Flathead. How many summers has he got left? Well, he lived his life. Let's do it for Fat Rap. Let's do it for Anthony Verone. Tommy Famara. Smith family. Wardy. Even Fergie and Bumbler. You know? Let's do it for Turtle. Tommy Gray. Let's do it for everybody out there. All right? Let's do it for Shughead Shiley. He's never, had that championship year. Shughead's going to get some. Let's do it for the June family. Mike Scatolini, who put me through a windshield. Let's do it. All right, coming up, Chris Stanley. We're going to take a break first.
We're going to take a very quick break first.
Then, when we are back, let's jump into
52 comedians predict the biggest game in sports.
And please, if you're a person who prays, and I'm not telling you how to live your life, Catholic prayers only. Do not mess this up with a Baptist or Protestant. Nobody wants you improvising and speaking from the hip, okay? Follow the Catholic prayers. Same way Jesus was taught by his mom, Virgin Mary. All right, Gail, 52 Comics. We'll be right back. This is Bennington. Well, we were hoping for a more exciting title, but you take what you get in this world, huh?
That is true. But it is the biggest game in sports, literally.
Yeah. Well, it's 52 pretty good comedians picking one of the biggest games in sports, because we're not allowed to say the actual name.
Right. But I think we all know what we're talking about.
I have a friend doing 16 years for saying the word Super Bowl.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I did not know it was that strict.
Mm-hmm. He said, have a happy Super Bowl. I watch cops come out of the woods and grab him. Even an old lady was actually a big bare-chested Irish cop. You got to be careful in this world. Well, Gail, you know who you and I are going for.
Yes, of course.
We are picking Fly,
Eagles fly on a road to victory.
I wonder if we'll even sing that once.
I hope we sing it so many times.
I always sing it so many times that the neighbors complain. I go from being as optimistic as can be to pessimistic, then back to optimistic. It's like having some kind of mental illness.
Yeah, it has been very back and forth, but maybe these comics will ground us in some way. We'll see, maybe hear some predictions from people who aren't as emotionally invested as we are.
All right, let's get this going, and let's start at the top, because this gentleman, not only one of the funniest comedians working today, and he is, Mike Vecchione. Last year, he not only picked the winner, but picked the actual score of the Super Bowl. And remember, the Patriots had to come back. We thought,
Right, yeah.
I feel like that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
That the Patriots had that comeback.
Well, so then I have good feelings about Mike's pick.
All right. Mike Vecchione.
I am going with the Philadelphia Eagles over the New England Patriots. The Eagles 27, the Patriots 24. I think Nick Foles picks up where he left off, and he hits people down the field. Everybody's in shock. The Philadelphia goes crazy. Cars are overturned. Things are set on fire. Cartwheels in the street. It's mayhem, but liberty at the same time.
Mike Vecchione. Wow. He painted a picture.
I actually don't want to hear anyone else. I'm done. I'm just going to treat this as fact.
This is Mike Vecchione's Picks the Super Bowl. So that is the end of our show. We'd like to thank all of the comedians who joined in with us. Mike Vecchione.
Although, you know what? I have been feeling similarly that no matter what the win, I'm nervous that it's going to be tight.
My nose will bleed out.
I know, and that's my fear, is spending that entire game with full anxiety, and that's what he's just described.
I'm trying to stay away from you that day.
Okay. Go ahead. Why? Because my nervous energy?
Your nervous energy, my nervous energy, and then looking around the room, and then your mother's like, no, we watch the games together. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And I go, but we've never been in a position like this.
I know. And, of course, my boyfriend is also from Philly, so he's going to be a
He's
wreck.
worse than all of us.
He's way worse than any of us.
He dreams about it.
I mean, yeah. My dog actually avoids his presence because of either cheers or screams of pain. She just tries to stay away from him during football season.
There's a lot of moaning that comes out of me. And a lot of, fucking course that happened. Of course we fumbled because we ate. I just feel like I am shameful and remorseful as a person, and I think that whole entire city should feel that way.
Yeah.
Because I've seen what those people do. I'm concerned if they lose, I'm concerned if they win. Let's go to Tommy John again, one of the funniest people in the world. I think we can trust him when it comes to Super Bowl gambling.
I'm taking the Eagles straight up. I think Tom Brady's going to get destroyed. The Eagles' front line's going to win this whole game for them. And my final score is Eagles 31, Patriots 28.
We're going destroyed, and he's got it even tighter.
I know. That's so tight. I mean, I'm happy that he picked them for the win. I feel like Tommy's a sportsman.
Oh, he is.
He's a sportsman.
He's a modern-day Nostradamus, let's face it. This guy's a goddamn horseshoe. He's so lucky. Let's go to a guy that we could all count on as far as being level-headed and right down the road politically, right down the middle. It's our own Nick DiPaolo.
The Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl because, first the score is going to be 28-24 Pats. The reason they're going to win, couple reasons, twofold. Tom Brady is a hunk, just a piece of ass, and we have some really fast black guys. A lot of fast black guys. These black guys run like the wind, so I figure we have more fast black guys than the Eagles do. Eagles have some fat black guys with some fat white guys mixed in, but I'm going to go, Patriots 28-24. Again, Tom Brady's pretty fast black guys.
Everything he says is true. He's changed my mind. The suffering that's going to take place on Sunday is unbelievable.
Yeah, again, even if we're talking Patriots, we're talking about an uncomfortable situation.
Nick DiPaolo, one of the few comedians who played football in college.
Yeah.
Let's face it. He's athletic enough. He never had to be funny. And yet he did it.
Yeah.
The Eagles started out strong, and then Nick DiPaolo jumped in. But let's go to a funny guy, Mark Norman.
The Saints got robbed. Can I say that? That one guy should have made the tackle. He had a brain queef. What a douche. I think the Patriots are going to win just because they got a good record, and I'm gay. And I'm going to go 36-10. The Dirty Birds are going to have a little scoring in there, and that's about it. Then they're going to choke. All right, I'll see you all in hell.
Well, first of all, the Eagles aren't the Dirty Birds.
That's the Falcons, right?
Yeah, that's Atlanta. But he does make a good case. It looks like the Eagles are going to get rumped. But let's go to somebody who has over 1 million people a day. The other night I played it. 1.6 million people playing his game show HQ.
And that is Scott Rogowski.
Pats, Eagles. I'm going to say if the Eagles show up with their full arsenal of D batteries, they're going to win this thing 31-24. Eagles.
Wow, Scott, I did not expect that.
Here's what I'm going to say. Scott always has the right answer.
He does. Normally the answer is given to him, but we don't know where. It could be coming from God. All right, Eagles back on, thanks to Scott. Thanks to the lag daddy. You know, Gail, you're always talking about people that you think are just amazingly funny. By the way, Chris, I noticed that we're not doing a lot of women.
It's sexist.
Don't worry.
Should Gail leave?
I
No
didn't-
sexist PIG?
No.
I didn't know that I wasn't invited or my kind.
You weren't invited to the car BQ. And that's what he calls when he sees a car on fire.
Oh, my God.
When he's doing traffic reports.
Time's up, Chris.
Time is up, Chris. Put your penis back in your pants.
Just trying to have fun.
Noah Gardenswartz is going to show us the way.
even though I hate the Patriots, I think they're going to win the Super Bowl 30-17 because they have Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, an insane amount of white receivers who somehow produce in the NFL, and then 2 running backs who both can catch the ball out of the backfield, and I just don't trust Nick Foles. And I think the Super Bowl MVP will be Rob Gronkowski, and afterwards he's going to give an absolutely retarded victory speech that has nothing to do with the fact that he was concussed last week.
Noah seems to be dead on. Everything he says
Don't worry about that.
just made perfect sense to me.
And like, it really hurt when he said I don't know why, but the phrase "I don't trust Nick Foles" like hurt me. Like, can we trust him?
By the way, everybody was saying that before the last game.
I know.
Everybody was saying that except for one person. Me.
Yep, Ron Bennington.
And guess who won't give me fucking credit for that? Big J. Okerson.
Really?
When I said, who's the guy who told you they trusted Nick Foles? Me. He laughed as if I was joking.
No, you really did. And I know this because I laughed when you first said it.
Let me go to a guy that all of us can trust, Tommy Pope.
I'm from Philly, so my pick will be obvious. The Eagles have a proven track record as an underdog, so I'm going to ride that out. They've proven they're an elite team in the playoffs, and they're able to overcome obstacles, which is fucking great. If we pressure Brady with our dominant 4-man rush, I think if we can get a couple turnovers, anything can happen at this level. So I think it'll come down to the last drive. Philly wins 31-27, and God damn it, I'm nervous.
Tommy Pope, he sounds like a true Eagles fan to me.
He does, yeah.
Not the braggadocious kind of, like, we got those assholes. He really knows his history, that the team has been somewhat snake bit, but you have that hope, that love inside you that you could just get there once.
I know.
Just get there once. But Tommy has a show called Delco Proper. And if you're saying, what is the show like? Go back and watch any of the stuff where when the Eagles beat the Vikings and the poles had to be greased. It's a show that pretty much writes itself. Those people would all find Delco Proper to be a hilarious show.
Yeah. And whenever someone's picking their home team, you feel like, oh, they're going to be a little skewed to one side. I feel like he made his point. I'm feeling very strong after that.
I trust him, but I trust someone more, and that's Butterly, also from Delco Proper. Let's take a listen to Tim Butterly.
So it's going to be 24-14 Eagles, and the difference in the game is going to be that at least one Eagles fan is going to sneak a pocket full of batteries into the stadium and at least injure one of the refs that are going to be trying to sway it in New England's favor. Tom Brady's going to retire on the field, and everyone named Maureen in Northeast Philly is going to get finger pregnant.
I know a lot of people do think that the Patriots cheat and the Patriots get the benefit of the league. And, some of that is true. I mean, you got to beat the champ. People are going to look to the champ. If it was anybody but my team, right? I'd say, oh, I'm rooting for the other team, but I expect the Patriots to win.
Yeah.
I would expect the Patriots to win. Both Super Bowls that the Patriots won, I was shocked. A, because Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. And B, that Tom was playing at the time with the Giants against a special needs quarterback, a quarterback that had been put there in some kind of Make-A-Wish program. And I saw Eli not too long ago. And I said, Eli, you got 2 rings. And he yelled, I got 2 rings. And I go, that's great. What are you going to do with your rings? And he goes, Peyton gave these to me. I go, he did not give those. You won those. And he says, yes, from Peyton. He's a quarterback. I go, both of you. Eli, both of you are quarterbacks, not just Peyton.
Plus his heart, though. You know what I mean?
And then I bought a paper from him, Sunday paper. He was sitting right next to a paper machine. And I noticed more people are going through the machine than Eli. And I said, no, that's not right. Let's see what happens here, guys. It's a very nerve-wracking thing. But let's go to a level-headed guy, the great comedian Barry Crimmins.
My algorithms were off a little bit when I asked for my original calculation. We made some repairs. And the score of this year's Super Bowl will be New England 24, Philadelphia 19. Why? Because we love horses.
Look, Barry, I love you. And I've done nothing but root you on. And you couldn't give me one goddamn thing. And that's our relationship, isn't it? I give and I give and I give. And it's time for me to get some. Barry takes it away.
He knew this was special to you.
He did know. Christian Finnegan. Let's see what he can give again.
Well, I am actually from Massachusetts, so what that means is that I actually hate the Patriots with a burning passion. I hate all of the sports teams that I grew up with because all the people who liked them made my life miserable. So I would root for Hezbollah if they were playing the Patriots, but I have to admit that it seems pretty likely that the Patriots will win again, because if the last couple of years has taught us anything, is that evil always wins, and hope is nothing but a sign of a weak soul. So I am going to go Patriots 412-9.
No, he despises those New England teams because he despises the people who root for them.
But he does feel like evil will win in the end.
Christian Finnegan is a very, very funny man. But it's always shocking when he says, my wife. Because he seems like a gay guy, but he's married. But the other night at the stand, he said to me, toodles, bye-bye, out on the street. And I'm not making that up. Toodles, and I was with Tim Dillon, and I go, Christian is a very comfortable guy, because of the toodles, bye-bye. And Tim Dillon was just shit on his phone. It goes like this. Yeah, he's great. And I always remember that moment the three of us had. Yeah, he's great.
He's great.
Now, look, this is the picture of what I got here. Started with scallops. End up with some Long Island duck because I'm from Long Island and I wanted to have that. And then Ron went, look closer. It's the apple pie. Right? We devoured that. He loves showing pictures of food.
He does. Follow his Instagram if you like to look at the food he eats.
It's like looking at a Greek fucking menu. It's just filled with food. Who do we have next, Gail?
Up next, we have our first female predictor. Finally,
deep into the show.
Very deep into the show.
Congratulations, Chris Stanley.
But very happy to announce it is the lovely Peggy O'Leary.
So what's up? I think the Eagles are definitely going to win, not just because I love them so much, but because the city needs it. And fuck it, he's a backup quarterback. So give it up for Nicky Foles. It's going to be, I believe it's going to go 26-21, Eagles.
I couldn't love anyone more than I love Peggy O'Leary right now.
See? It's truth. You know what I mean? That's a woman's intuition.
But also what she's saying is true. The city needs it.
They do.
Does Boston need it? No.
No, they're going to forget it in a minute.
You know what? At one time, the Celtics won something like 11 out of 12 years, the championships. You know?
Mm-hmm.
They're not kidding when they say Boston's strong.
Yeah.
They're strong with everything.
Too strong.
They get nothing but championships, and they don't care. We have no championships, but we would love to.
I hope
Peggy O'Leary knows. She knows the way. And hopefully Rel Battle will back us up.
He's hope the so too.
Guy who came up with Roast Battle. I don't know why he just didn't name it Rel Battle. He's a very funny man. Let's see who he's picking for the big game.
Yo, I'm going to go with the 5-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady. You got 5. You never bet against the house, man. Last time they lost the Super Bowl, they went 16-0 that season. So never bet against the Patriots. Never bet against Tom. I got the score 20-27 New England Patriots.
A couple things there, Rel. A, you never start with a lower score when you're explaining something. B, no, it wasn't the last time that they lost the Super Bowl. That was the undefeated season. They lost one more after that to the Giants.
Yeah.
And if you look back, the people from Boston that year, they didn't want the Giants again. They're concerned about the Giants. And then finally, Rel, 3. Well done, my friend. Very, very funny stuff. Very, very funny man. This is 52 Comics predict the biggest game in sports. The biggest game in sports. Here's a guy from Cleveland. And that's not easy to be from Cleveland. But all the little chicks with their crimson lips say Cleveland rocks. Cleveland rocks. Chad Zumach.
Philadelphia Eagles will win the Super Bowl. The score will be 36-0 blowout. Tom Brady will get injured on the first play, and it will be the end of the Patriots. This is coming from an 0-16 Browns fan.
Chad comes up with an interesting idea, though. Could you imagine what the networks would do if Brady did get injured early on?
I can't imagine.
I don't even know who goes in now. I don't know who their backup is.
Brian Hoyer, formerly of the Browns.
God, that's crazy.
Or maybe the Texans.
Well, no, I think he was with the Browns too.
Would that just be like their nightmare of nightmares? Not
that would be
Patriots,
anybody's
But I
nightmare.
mean, like for ratings.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah,
they would just be like, everyone's pissed.
Well, I'm sure Monday we'll hear lowest rated Super Bowl because, the television is going where everybody doesn't watch things at the same time. And B, if you're the casual fan, you probably can't believe that the Patriots are going back again.
Yeah.
This is 52 comedians predict the biggest game in sports. We got to get that fixed, Chris. I probably should just say game once. Here's Avery Pearson.
Okay, look, does anyone win if Tom Brady wins another Super Bowl? I mean, I grew up a Bills fan, and it's just a nightmare. It was a nightmare. And growing up as a Bills fan, you learned that when you turn to your father after the fourth lost Super Bowl, there wasn't anything that he could do. That's when I learned that my dad was just a man. And then, later on, I learned a lot more and realized that he wanted to be my father and not my friend. But it doesn't matter. Look, I married into an Eagles family. The Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. The Eagles don't cheat. They have a belligerent fan base. They have a really crazy fan base. I've been there for games, sat next to a guy, and literally went through every single player on the Eagles, told me how terrible he is. This is a fan of the Eagles. And then we scored a touchdown, and he was just thrilled and beside himself. So I'm going to call the New England Patriots in a loss, and unfortunately the Bills are not in the Super Bowl. They scored 3 points in 17 years in the playoffs. And now I'm going to call the score is going to be Eagles 35, Patriots 31.
Wow.
All right, our buddy Avery Pearson picking Eagles 35, Patriots 31. And I like that he's married into an Eagles family. I think that's
not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But if we find out the Eagles lose this, he's the jinx. He jinxed the Bills, and now he's jinxing the Eagles. Ari Shafir will bring some Old Testament logic to this.
Okay, well, I'm torn here on the Super Bowl because if the Eagles lose, Big J is going to cry. But if New England loses, I think Joe List might be upset. So it's really like who's going to feel the most pain. And I feel like Joe List has already gotten his fill of Super Bowl wins, so it's okay. So I'd rather see Big J cry. Plus, I'm going to be in Philadelphia that week playing Helium. By the way, Thursday show's still available. I would love to see them riot. I would love to be in a city where they actually riot. I might stay and watch that. So final score, I'm going to say New England's probably going to win. Let's be honest. They're fucking good. 31-14.
Ari Shafir picking Patriots 31-14, mostly based on which of his friends he wants to see sad.
And he wants to see Big J cry.
Yeah.
And Big J will cry.
Oh, yeah. He will shed
Not
tears.
in front of you, but he'll go to a place where all of his childhood horrors exist, and he'll cry there.
Yeah.
And then probably hit Christine. I don't want to say anything, but I think it's happened before. And the last time I saw Christine, I said this to her: "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Oh, scared. Because I will get her out of town so fast you won't believe it. I will hide her off in Elkton, Maryland. Shit, I shouldn't have said that. I'll be down there. All right, Indianapolis. Again, I shouldn't have said it. All right, let's just go for Coatesville, Pennsylvania. But she'll be safe.
Next up, let's hear the prediction from Dion Cole.
I think that the Patriots will win. Why? Because they always do. I think the score will probably be 49-14.
I would probably be talking like Dion Cole if this wasn't my team playing. If this wasn't the Eagles playing, if they were playing the Saints, if they were playing the Falcons, if they were playing the Vikings, I'd be like, dude, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
I'm going to watch the game, of course, but I know what I'm going to watch.
It always hurts to hear someone do it so confidently, the way Dion just did.
It is the 52 predictions of the comedians picking the biggest game in sports. Let's jump in with Chris Laker.
I say the Eagles are going to win because I don't like Tom Brady, which isn't a good reason to pick them, but I'll do it anyway, and it'll be 34-0.
You can tell the people who are not sports fans at all.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. I like Chris Laker a lot, but that was a gigantic waste of time.
And that was a gossip column pick, because that's just like, I don't like Tom Brady as a person.
Right. No one does. Tom doesn't like Tom as a person because he's so driven to win that he can't rest for a second.
Yeah. He's probably just hates being around himself all day.
After the last Super Bowl, everybody was cheering and all, and you just see Tom, and it looks like he's crying, and he's got his hands in the air. And when they went over to mic him, you just heard him go like this. What's wrong with me? Why don't I feel this? What is wrong with me? I'm a shark. I am without emotions, and I can't stop swimming or I'll drown. I came up many, many years ago. I was up in New England. I was driving down the road. It must have been 3 o'clock in the morning, and there was a terrible car crash that had taken place. 2 cars that were heading right at each other, each going 70 miles an hour, and there was a head-on smash. The 2 cars that looked like an accordion. And there was just a slight rain going 3 o'clock in the morning. And oddly, as smashed as the cars were, their headlights didn't go out. And that not immediately got to me. I'm looking at this horrific thing, and their headlights did not go out. And then I noticed that there was a figure backlit by those headlights. And it was Tom Brady. And he was looking at this carnage. I'm talking about hands, feet, guts laying on the street. And I just saw him eating what turned out to be a peanut butter and fluffernutter sandwich. And he's just standing there eating it. And I go, Tom? And he looks at me. And these are dead eyes, dull eyes. And he said, all the blood. All the blood. And then I just watched him walk into the woods through the mud. Quite frankly, into the mist, and I believe he disappeared. I don't know whether I didn't see him anymore in the mist and the weeds or he disappeared himself, but Tom Brady is a cold-blooded gangster. Okay, he's a serial killer. And I believe that he made those cars crash with his mind. This is why you're listening to this show today, this special. You're not going to get this on the NFL network. They're not going to give you this. You're not going to get it on any of the big networks.
All right, let's go to our next one. This is 52 comedians predict the biggest game in sports. Next up, it's Ian Bagg.
Hey there, I think that the Patriots are going to win 24-14. And then I think all of Philadelphia will be burnt down to the ground. Sadly, Patriots win every year. That's the way it goes. It just happens like that. Ask Atlanta. Just look at history. Oh, history. That's what you got to look at.
Ian is correct. You know, if it wasn't my team and my hopes and my prayers, I'd be like, oh, the Patriots can't lose. Now, I want that can't to turn around.
Yeah.
I want some kind of miracle. That's what I'm waiting for. All right, next up, letting these comedians pick. This is a guy, he breaks my heart because he's a Philly guy. I consider him the Philly guy, but he's not an Eagles guy. He roots for the Dallas Cowboys against all his Philly neighbors and family members. Keith Robinson.
I think the score will be 24-17, Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, the Philadelphia Eagles win their first NFL Super Bowl, and Nick Foles is going to have one hell of a game. That's what's going to be the winning. That's going to be the winning combination. Nick Foles is going to put it all together and have a hell of a game, get the MVP, get a big, giant contract, and then bust with the next team he's going with. So you heard it from me. Keith Robinson. Philadelphia Eagles, the first Super Bowl in their entire existence.
I love what Keith is saying.
I like it too.
And I'm loving that he could put away his Cowboys thing.
I know.
And just come here as a person.
Yeah.
So exciting. The game is Sunday. Let Lisa Traeger give her prediction.
So I think the Eagles are going to win because the Patriots have had enough. No one likes them. It's too many championships. Also, I know a lot of people from Philly. They're desperate. They need something. And Philly cheesesteaks are so good. And so I want them to win. I don't really know any players on any teams except for Tom Brady. So I don't know if their skills are good, defense, offense. But as a city, I'm all about Philly right now and these birds. I think the score is going to be tight as hell. I think it's going to be like 32-27. Is that possible?
It is possible.
You know what? I hope she's 100% right. I hope she's the person who picks it based on her love of Philly cheesesteaks and her friends from Philly.
You could sit around and watch every game and you're still never sure, Gail. And that's why I say this. Spin the wheel, take the deal. A bear or dog, somebody is going to win this thing. You spin it, you win it. Who do we got next, Chris?
This is Scout Durwood.
I got to go with the Patriots, not because I think they're better, but because I think nothing in history has ever been fair, and they're going to keep winning whatever it takes. I got to go with the Pats. And I think they're going to win with like a last minute field goal. So let's go to 24-21 Pats.
Shane Gillis is going to predict the big game score.
Tom Brady's a MAGA hat wearing white supremacist, which, I love that shit. But I'm in Philly, got to go with the Birds. I'm going 27-24 Eagles. The D-line just gets in that tiki torch carrying guy's butt. You know what I'm talking about? No, Eagles 27, Patriots 24. That's what I'm going with. I
never really thought of it. That is true. That he does carry a tiki torch.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady looks like those people in Charlottesville.
He does. I mean, he'd blend right in.
Let's jump back into this. We are looking at a very funny man.
Rory Albanese.
Sad to say, I think the Patriots are going to win. And as a Giants fan, the last thing I want to do is root for the Eagles. But I'm rooting for the Eagles because the Patriots are the devil. I think the score is going to be 34-17, and no one's going to watch after the second half because we cannot watch Tom Brady be happy again. I can't have it.
Nate Bargatze is a man who's going to bring in some Southern charm to this and give us his Super Bowl big game pick.
I think the Patriots are going to win. I know it's going on a limb. I think we're running towards the end of the Patriots dynasty. I think they get one more. We see greatness with Tom Brady. And I think they win 27-21 Patriots.
I'm not even making this up. If it wasn't my team, I would have said that thing.
That was the exact.
This is going to be the last Super Bowl that they win.
Yeah.
But they get one more. That one hurt me more than any other prediction.
Yeah.
Nate Bargatze took a sword into my heart, twist it. Now I'm dying.
Yeah, I hate the ones where they feel like a voice of reason. I don't want to hear them right now.
Yeah, I'd rather hear a crazy maniac. Hey, speaking of which, Derek Gaines.
I think the team that's going to win the Super Bowl, being from Philly, is the Eagles. And they're going to win by, it's going to be 14-7 Eagles. I'll tell you why. Because that defense ain't going to let up. Brady going to get something off. But the will of this team is what's going to bring us. It's the will. Because the Patriots cheat. They cheat. The refs going to be playing for New England. You know this. So, therefore, I'm for Philly. Eagles going to win 14-7. Mad defense. It's going to be a slow-ass game, but they're going to fight to the very last second. So, Derek Gaines, Eagles going to win by 7 points, 14-7. Eagles, Super Bowl.
Adore that kid.
Oh, man. Love it. And I agree. I'm back on it. I'm feeling confident again after I hear about the will. They have the will to win.
There is somebody that we always go to for wisdom, just like the people of Oz would run to the wizard every time that they saw a witch fly across the sky. We too have a wizard, and it's the Wizard of Lane, Mateo Lane.
So I think for the Super Bowl, who's going to win is probably Janet Jackson, because she deserves to come out there and kick ass, and I hate Justin Timberlake. And the score will be 100 to -5. And I'll probably be watching with a bunch of gays screaming at the television. 105 to Janet Jackson, -5 to Justin Timberlake.
Dale, there's no reason to do that to our special.
I thought he was a sportsman.
I did too, because he has a strong man's mustache, and it looks like he was just throwing Indian clubs. All right, Chris, do we need to take a break here, buddy, or what are we doing?
We don't have to break. We are going into Doug Stanhope's pick for the big game.
I'm from New England, and I'm bored with the fucking Patriots. Eagles fans, you know what? As far as comedy goes, you're fantastic when I play there. As far as football fucking idiots, you need more things to do with your day. So I'm rooting against the Eagles fans. Love the Nick Foles story. Hope that it goes somewhat weird. At least last year, the Patriots made it interesting. It was the first overtime Super Bowl. They made it fantastic, except for the first 3 quarters that were boring as fuck. I predict boring as fuck. I predict the Patriots will win by 3, 27-24 in a very unthrilling event that hopefully stops us from all rooting for young, steroid-riddled men to get concussions and kill themselves in the heart with a shotgun at 48.
Doug Stanhope coming at it from a couple different angles there.
Yeah, a little dark.
Yeah.
A little dark there.
Oh, he can get dark. He can get dark. This is Josh Adam Myers, his pick for the Super Bowl winner.
Growing up in the Washington, D.C. area, I've never rooted for the Eagles because they're an NFC East team. And I want them to win because I want the town of Philadelphia, even though it's a shit city, I want them to be able to feel anything other than how shitty their city is. But I know, without a doubt in my mind, that the Patriots are going to win. Final score, let's say, 38-26. Patriots.
That one makes me nervous because he doesn't have a doubt in his mind.
Yeah. I don't
He's
like hearing,
so sure.
I don't like hearing people say this.
You know, Jeremiah Watkins works with Josh all the time.
Yeah.
Let him give us another look.
It's got to be the Philadelphia Eagles this time. The Patriots, they've had enough wins. It's one of those things where, yes, there's injuries on the Eagles side, but Patriots without Gronk spearheading the front line, no, it's not going to happen for them. You know what? I'm going to call it. It's going to be close, though. It's going to be close. I'm going to say the Eagles are going to take it 27-26. Yep, that's what I'm calling it.
Well, this is the thing, Jeremiah. Gronk is going to be playing, and if you think he's not worth 2 points, you're crazy. Let's see what the very funny Paul Verzi thinks is going to happen.
Okay, so I think the New England Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl for a couple reasons, but the main reason being that their system and the way Brady gets the ball out of his hands quickly is what makes defenses kind of insignificant. I'm going to say the Patriots win the game because Brady's getting the ball out of his hands quickly and moving the ball down the field. Patriots 32, Eagles 20.
Oh,
I don't like
that hurts, Paul.
All these Patriots picks.
Yeah, and let me tell you, DeRosa was a guy who I've never thought of as a football guy, but Joe DeRosa is ready to jump into this.
Okay.
Yo, this is Philadelphia native Joe DeRosa. My pick is the Eagles to win. Why? Because Philly rocks, bro. And it's going to be a massacre. 42-0.
This is truth. I believe this. And Philadelphia native, apparently.
He is Philadelphia native. He's been in Wawa. He's done all that.
42-0.
We're all going to get down on Liberty Bell after. Take a big old piss on it. I'll give you another Philadelphia native. It's Monroe Martin, except for he was in a group home. So don't know how he's going to feel about it. I mean, he didn't have the best Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Growing up, I always call him the next Bill Cosby, which causes a lot of concern with the audience. Our buddy Monroe Martin.
I think that the Eagles are going to take it. I know we're going into the Super Bowl with a second-string quarterback, but he got more to prove. And I think the actual final score is going to be 30-26.
Monroe, I love it, but there are people that they have the craziest logic behind their best. He's going to have more to prove. This is the Super Bowl. But you're not thinking of anything other than the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But there is a comfort for me to hear a homer, talk about the game. And then even if they're crazy and they don't make any sense why they think the Eagles are going to win, I'm like, good. I like that. Keep that talk going, even though they might not be using any logic.
It's the big game. You're not allowed to say Super Bowl, so we'll say big game.
It is a big game.
And it is the biggest of all game. The biggest game. This is a holiday. It's actually a weird kind of holiday. Here's a guy whose football knowledge I trust very much, Jim Florentine.
I'm a Miami Dolphin fan. I'd love for the Patriots to lose, but they're not. You just look at the quarterbacks, Tom Brady against Nick Foles. There you go right there. That's, George Carlin versus an MC working at the house MC working at a club in Tampa. So it comes down to the quarterbacks. New England's going to win, unfortunately. I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles, but unless barring a miracle, it's not going to happen. The Patriots make unbelievable adjustments at halftime, even if they're down. They can make adjustments, come back in the second half. I think it'll be close, and New England will win 24-20.
Let me just point this out, Jim Florentine. I know the club MC in Tampa, and he's strong. Now, is he George Carlin strong? No.
I've heard a couple people make this exact prediction in which they're saying, even if they're down by a lot, they're going to make adjustments at the half, which is just going to feel terrible because even if the Eagles are winning, we'll never be able to celebrate is what these people are telling me.
You're never going to be able to relax against...
Like, we can't even be happy.
Even if the Patriots are up big in the fourth quarter, you're like, I think they're going to even win by a lot more than this. Yeah. You're playing the Patriots.
Yeah.
This is the greatest organization in the histories of organization. At one point, it was U.S. Steel and the Patriots. Now it's just the Patriots. And the other thing, people don't even bring this up about Bill Belichick. And they're like, well, how did he get to be so good as a coach? He was setting up trade routes that connected China and South Asia with Western Europe. And he did that at a time where basically most things were just traveling by mule and small sailboat. When we were going into the moon and NASA was putting that together, you heard this, the Eagle has landed. I guess Belichick was right with his projections. He had sat down and worked out the math on that.
Never knew that.
Yeah. Bill Belichick, during the Cold War, had a home that one side of it was East Germany and the other side of it was West. He had to have a pass. If he got up to take a piss in the middle of the night, he had to take a passport with him. His life is not, he's not like other people.
No, he's not normal.
Yeah. We can always count on Dave Temple to be a Philly homer, can't we, Dave?
I think the Eagles are going to win because I'm a Philadelphian and I'm legally required to say that. The score will be, again, 38-14. Free Wawa for everybody.
Dave Temple bringing that Philly homer thing home.
Good. That's what I like.
Love it.
I like to hear this.
Gail, anybody else that you want to hear from right now?
Yes. You know who I want to hear from? Our new buddy, Cypher Sounds.
Big game is going down. New England versus Philly. We all know Philly's going to win this. I'll tell you why. Philly went through a lot of rough patches this last year. Meek Mill got locked up for doing what? Popping wheelies. Kevin Hart got exposed for cheating. And then Bill Cosby. We know how that went down. So Philly needs a win right now. The score is going to be 21-5. Philly.
21-5.
I'm going to hate when there's a safety.
Yeah.
But it's there's that kind of weird logic. You know what I mean? Some of their celebrities have had troubles, so they need a win.
They need it. I mean, look, they do need it. That doesn't mean we're going to get it.
I will tell you this. The people in Philly, they want a win so much. They're saying Catholic prayers. They're lighting candles. people in Boston expect to win. Why wouldn't you? You've got Tom Brady. You have the Grunk.
But you're almost setting up a tortoise in the hare kind of situation there. Are you not?
Yeah.
They're expecting to win.
I don't know whether you saw the movie Tortoise in the Hare or the book.
Okay.
But they switched it up in the movie. In the book, the hare destroyed the tortoise.
Really?
Yeah. The hare didn't lay down and take a nap in a race. He finished the race and then took a nap. And that's what Brady plans on doing. Finishing the race, okay? And his thing is every time he takes that ball, he puts it in the case, puts it up there, and he goes like this to Giselle. Look, Mommy, I got another football that signifies my win. That's 6 of them. And then she goes, I'm so proud of you, Daddy. And then the 2 of them have some, I think he drinks Jamba Juice. The reason that he's able to keep playing like he is he drinks Jamba Juice. And then they'll lay down, have a juice together, one small juice with 2 straws. That's what they call party night. And then the 2 of them sleep inside of a chamber.
Maybe in a bed?
They're not like us, Chris.
I guess not. I don't like that he calls his wife Mommy.
I think it's cute. I think they call each other Mommy and Daddy, and that's nice.
I don't like it.
Next up, let's hear from the incredibly funny Gary Goldman.
I think the New England Patriots are going to win 36-31. It's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think that Tom Brady's excellence in Super Bowls and his otherworldly ability to come through in the clutch will lead the Patriots past the Philadelphia Eagles to their 6th Super Bowl championship.
Notice how they all forget the 2 times he choked in front of the New York Football Giants. If I was a Giants fan right now, I'd be furious that people don't bring this up all the time.
I know.
And
you're right.
They think of the Giants as a toad who doesn't belong to be with the beautiful people. Go eat your flies, they say. Bull effing shite. The Giants, I toast you right now. And I pray that your strength transfers over to us. It's the big game, Gail. 52 comedians predict the biggest big game in sports.
Next up, let's hear what Paul Morrissey has to say.
I'm Paul Morrissey.
I'm Paul Morrissey.
My Super Bowl prediction is New England Patriots trying to preserve a legacy, finish on top. But my prediction is the Eagles with the upset, 35-21, because you got to go underdog. There's something with the Patriots that they're too cocky. I feel like it's the Eagles' year, so don't put more money. Well, I'll put my money on it. Yes, mortgage the house, put the car. Eagles plus 14.
Where are you going to get that? You don't get those numbers, Paul. Look, Paul won our big game this year, and we ended up giving him the Bo Jackson.
Yeah, huge
football,
prize.
which is just fantastic. And then he took it home and took a bath with it, and he called me up and he goes, "What is that made out of?" The Bo Jackson came out. I go, "I'll tell you what it's made out of, Paul. It's made out of ink." You know, I don't know whether you've ever washed clothes before, but ink will come out in the wash. But I'm happy with him. Now, open mic Eagle, I expect to get the truth out of him, or at least a fun little hip hop rap.
I haven't watched the NFL all season long because I'm boycotting because Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job and he's better than a lot of people who do have jobs. So what I think is going to happen is that the Patriots are going to win, and they're going to win because somebody in Philadelphia, when they're like returning a kicker, don't ask me how I know who's in the game. Just don't even bother with that. But somebody's going to be returning a kick, and they're going to like break free through all the defense, and they're going to get to the 1 yard line, and they're going to stop and kneel, and it's going to make everybody go crazy. And then, Tom Brady's going to throw a bunch of touchdowns. So there's no way to stop that. But what I do know, Patriots are probably going to win like 42-6 or something like that, and everybody from Philadelphia is going to beat up the players, and then they're going to walk up 95 and beat up everybody in Boston. And it's going to start the revolution this Sunday. Revolution.
Open mic Eagle. Now, this is the kind of thing that frustrates me. He is not watching football because Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job. Other people are not watching football because Colin Kaepernick knelt. Football can't win with anybody.
I know. I mean, who knew he was going to have that much of an impact, that he's going to have people boycotting on each side?
I am not political, but I promise you, I will turn off the game if the Eagles are losing by 23 in the fourth quarter. That's where I stand politically right now.
Admirable.
Yeah. You know why? I don't want to see anybody get hurt. Brain hurt. Anthony DeVito is maybe the most Italian name you could ever have in your life. He's a very, very funny guy. Let's let him weigh in on this.
Seems like the past election where it's like the Patriots are like the Clintons and the Eagles feel like Trump. So I'm going to say the Eagles are going to win because Trump won. I think they're going to win a pretty low-scoring game. I guess the Eagles' defense is pretty good. I say they'll win 2017, and then the city of Philadelphia is just going to burn. I don't know what's going to happen. All that'll be left is one Wawa.
That's all you need, really.
Yeah. One Wawa, as long as they have tasty cakes.
Yeah, get a turkey shorty.
Just go over right here. Line it up. I got extra salt and pepper. I hope it's okay with everybody. Tammy Pescatelli cheers for a team that hasn't won a single game. They're 0-16. The Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
People aren't even talking about that this year. You would think.
Yeah, that should be a
somebody
big
that
story.
Set up, a situation like this. People are like, hey, should they even keep a team? Oh, it's Cleveland? They're fine. Let's let Tammy tell us who she's picking.
Hey, so I think the real winner of the Super Bowl is going to be Janet Jackson's nipples because this time they get to stay home and they don't have to be out in that Minnesota cold. Honestly, though, I think it's going to be the Patriots. When Tom Brady is on and Gronk's going to come back from his concussion, it's unstoppable. So I think it's the Patriots 24-20 over the Eagles.
Tammy Pescatelli picks the Patriots handedly.
It is the big game. 52 comedians predict the biggest game in sports. Who knew it would be so exhausting to go through these many comedians?
I know, it is exhausting, and it is exhausting every Patriots pick. Like, breaks me down a little bit more. But let's hear from Nick Youssef. His pick for the 52 comedians predict the biggest game in sports.
Without question, without a doubt, the Eagles will win this year's Super Bowl. I think the score is going to be 97-3 Eagles. Brady and Belichick are the Trump and Bannon of sports. I want as many batteries and objects thrown onto the field as possible. I think someone will come through for the NFL and for this great country. And I think it might even be a Prius battery that lands on Brady, taking him out, and then they're just going to run the score up. 97-3 Eagles. That's what I'm pushing. That's what I'm praying for.
You know, Rich Voss has a big gig coming up in Connecticut right now. Connecticut is one of those, when you say Connecticut is New England, but it seems like the more western part of the state will go and cheer for the Giants. But either way, see Rich Voss at the Ridgefield Playhouse. The date on that, Chris?
February 9th at 8 p.m. ridgefieldplayhouse.org for tickets.
He's a very, very funny man, and he's going to be joined by Jim Florentine and the late, great Ron Bennington.
What? The last part really shocked me.
This Super Bowl, truthfully, I don't care who wins. I'm going to bet on this, and I'm going to take the over. So I want them both to score as many possible points as they can, and hopefully I'll win enough money to hold on to my house and wife. So it really...
You have a townhouse.
It's a house.
It cost $150,000.
No, it didn't cost.
20 years ago.
Are you crazy? It cost my house. Are you kidding me? I only owe $50,000 on the house.
$50,000?
Yeah, I might pay it off. But listen, I was in Boston last week working, and it was great. It was a great crowd. So I'm going to have to say I like Boston. 34-28, Boston.
In the background there, you could hear Bobby Kelly talking. So let's go to Robert Kelly and get his Patriots pick.
All right, of course I'm picking the Patriots are going to win. Stop it. They're going to win, absolutely. It's going to be, I would probably say 32-20. But I'm kind of nervous. I almost want Philly to win because if they don't, the violence that's going to erupt in Minnesota is going to be a nightmare. They're going to go nuts. Philly fans are revved up. They're crazy. They had to grease the poles in downtown Philly so people didn't climb the poles. They're throwing shit at people. I mean, it's going to be mayhem. They're going to go nuts. If they win, people are going to die. If they lose, it's going to be real bad. So I'm almost hoping that Philly wins so people don't die. Because the Patriots are, we're just a better people now. We are. The Patriots fans that are going to the Super Bowl, they're not guys like me, the guys, like the old fans. They're rich people. All right, that's my picks, okay? So screw Rich Voss.
First of all, it's Philadelphia, not ISIS-delphia. Stop being fearful of the birthplace of this nation.
I know, a lot of people have a real Philly phobia.
Yes, they do. They think just because those people riot that it makes them bad people. I always think of life this way. Voss, Kelly, and Norton. They really are the Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
So true.
Of New York comedy. So let's go to Jim Norton.
I think the Eagles are going to win by 37. The score is going to be 47-10 because I think Tom Brady chokes in big spots. He's one of those guys where he has a good defense, but he's known for not getting the job done, and when they're losing, he quits. So I have a feeling that as soon as they go down, Brady pretty much just kind of folds up his tent and goes home.
Are you talking about Voss or are you talking about Brady?
I'm saying the Eagles are going to win 47-10, and I think the problem is that Brady just kind of chokes, and he's look, is he a Hall of Famer? Probably, yeah. I mean, he's got a shot, right. But I just think that he's very overrated, and I think that
coaching is overrated too.
The coaching is decent, but I think what happens is they've relied a lot on cheating. So I'm taking the Eagles by 37.
Jim Norton making that pick just to annoy Bobby Kelly. 52 comedians predict the biggest game in sports. Very, very exciting. And this is somebody that you absolutely adore.
Yes, this is one of my favorite people on earth. Plus, I think we need a ladies' touch again. We've only had a handful of ladies.
Chris doesn't like the ladies.
This is maybe, our fourth woman so far?
This is misogynistic.
She better not be the last. This better not be 4 of 52.
Look, let me just say this. Cherish her, because I don't know whether we're going to get another lady on this.
Well, even if we don't, this is one of the best ladies out there. It's Amy Miller.
I have my money on the Philadelphia Eagles. My prediction is 36-4. I picked Philadelphia because I love the Benningtons. I love Cheese Whiz. And Philly is the city where the most men on the street tell me how beautiful I am. Philadelphia Eagles, 36-4.
She is a Philadelphia 10. There's no doubt about that. A Philadelphia 10. All right, so that's 42.
This is a bad math. We have 7 people left. 7 comics after Amy.
So it's 52 minus 7.
And that's 45.
Okay.
We have 23 picks for the Eagles, 22 picks for the Patriots.
Holy shit, this is close.
Wow.
Holy shit, this is close.
Makes me so nervous.
I'm looking this over, and look who it is. It's Boston's own Joe List.
The New England Patriots are going to win their 6th Super Bowl by a score of 38-10 because they're vastly superior to the Eagles. Boston's a superior city to Philly, and my penis is bigger than everyone that's ever from Philly. That's stupid. I should have practiced and rehearsed. Damn it. All right, but the Patriots are going to win 42-20. They're going to win. I hate myself. Thanks for listening. I love you. Go Pats.
I love you too, Joe, but I won't go Pats. I'm not going to do it.
That's where we draw the line.
We do draw the line, but doesn't mean that we don't love you very, very much or think that you're hilarious. Chris, who do we have next?
This is Akash Singh with his pick.
Go ahead, Akash.
I am rooting, even as a Cowboys fan who's going to watch, hopefully, the Patriots get more Super Bowls than the Cowboys. I am rooting actively for New England, but I'm not positive they're going to win. I think Foles could play better than you think because you can't really get to, I don't think New England can really get to him necessarily. I'm still going to pick the Patriots because I can't pick against them, but I'm going to go 21-15. I think it's going to be similar to Giants-Patriots. I just don't know if Nick Foles has the ability to pull the horseshoe out of his ass like Eli did.
Man, I don't think I've heard anybody put that together better. What it's like to be a fan and then use your brain. Chris, where are we at in these comedians?
Philly, 24 picks. Eagles, 23 picks.
Philly is
What?
one
How?
more pick than the Eagles.
Really?
Excuse me. Patriots, 24.
Can we go from the beginning here? Yes. You know Philadelphia is not playing the Eagles, right?
That would be so sad.
Can I tell you something?
I would know who to cheer for.
Shit, man.
Can I say something, Chris?
Yeah.
You went out and you've gotten 52 of these guys, right?
Yes, I have.
This is your baby.
Yes, it is.
Why let your baby sit in someone's shit and filth?
I want to pick it up out of the shit.
Change your baby.
You got a shitty baby, dude.
Yeah. Now, you're telling us Philadelphia's beating the Eagles 24-23.
There's 24 Patriots picks to 23 Eagles picks.
Why don't we just end here then?
No, we can't. There's 5 more comedians.
Are you sure there's only 5?
There's 5.
Because I think we're about... So, the Eagles are trailing by 1.
Yes.
And next up, I think we can tie this up because it's Big J. Okerson, who is known as Mr. Philadelphia. A lot of people call him Mr. Schuylkill Expressway. I've heard him referred to as the Wizard of Wissahickon Creek. Big J. Okerson.
I don't think I know the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win, and I know why is because they're a team of destiny. Nick Foles is going to lead us to the promised land the way we all knew a white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired man would one day. And the score, I think 24-21 Eagles, a reverse of 2004.
I'll just say this to Big J. Okerson. I would love for you to get that, buddy. And let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. We're tied up now, right?
24-24.
I have now decided. Maybe I'm a little tired because this thing, 52. Like Chris is like, hey, we should do 52 comics. I'm like, that sounds great. You could tell 11 would have been plenty.
Yes, this is a lot of comics.
It's too many.
And to find out now that we're 24-24, so you're telling me Philadelphia is tied with the Eagles, is what you're saying?
Yes, the Patriots are tied with the Eagles.
Patriots are tied with Boston 0-0. Look, I got news for you. This thing that we're doing is like going to an open mic show and seeing 52 comics. It's what, 24-24 now?
It is tied up.
We've only got 4 left.
Yeah.
This could easily become a tie at the end of this, which means we've gone all through this for no apparent reason. Dan Soder is next. I know he went to an Eagles game with his girlfriend, Big J. Okerson. And now this is adorable. Big J had to convince him not to wear his 49ers gear because people would hit him and stab him.
Yes.
And Soder's like, no, man, I'm wearing my stuff. I love to flash my colors. And Jay's like, you're not doing it.
No,
Dan.
don't do it.
Shut up. You're not doing it. I will knock you out myself and put you in the trunk for safety. Billions is the big TV show. Let's see what Dan Soder has to say.
I pick the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. I think they're going to win 28-24 over the Patriots. And why I think that way is because it would make Ron Bennington, Big J. Okerson, and Mike Vecchione all very happy. And that'd make me happy. And, I was worried about giving this pick. I heard Shane Gillis really bombed. So I'm just glad I didn't, I'm glad I did well. I'm glad I nailed it. I'm glad I just fucking stepped in the pocket and just fucking dunked that pick. Eat it, Gillis. Even though he's cheering for the Eagles, too. Go Birds.
Dan Soder, sweetheart that he is, he wants his friends to be happy.
He does, and that is a sweet thing.
Chris, give me the score, and who's next?
The score is 25-24 Eagles. And up next is Brad Williams.
All right, everybody, here's what's going to happen in the game. Because you come to a midget for your football knowledge, all right? When you want to know what 6'4" black guys are going to do on the field, you come to a white midget from Orange County. Okay, here's the game. It's going to be the Eagles, and they're going to win 28-25. That's right, Eagles by 3, and that's who should win it. You should not be rooting for the Patriots. Rooting for the Patriots to win another Super Bowl is like rooting for Leonardo DiCaprio to bang another supermodel. Oh, please, person who is the best. Oh, please get one more thing that makes you better than everybody else. Give it to somebody else. This time it's the Eagles, and it's going to be a great game. Enjoy the game, eat some bad food, drink some drinks, pass out, and enjoy the best unofficial holiday that America has to offer. Go Eagles!
Brad Williams just got me fired up for this game.
Me too. And I like that he's coaching people on, hey, if you don't have a horse in this race, let me tell you who to pick.
And
who
why.
you should be rooting for. And he's 100% right.
And he's doing it on the side of justice. You know what I mean? What is the score right now?
Right now, with 2 comedians left, we're at 26 picks for the Eagles, 24 for the Patriots.
This is in the bag, everybody, because next up is Pete Lee. And Pete loves me as much as I've loved him. Every once in a while, I'll be with Pete at the stand, and he'll go like this. I listened to you on the air for so long. I can't believe I'm doing a show with you. He goes, I can't believe that I even come in and hang out with you. He goes, it's crazy to me. So thank you, everybody. This is a guy I know I could depend on to pick the Philadelphia Eagles. My pal, Pete Lee.
I predict that the score at halftime will be Eagles 38, Patriots 7, but then Roger Goodell is going to give the Patriots the Eagles playbook at halftime, and the Patriots will win 42-38 in the end.
Pete Lee, how the hell could you say that? How the hell can you say that?
And to speak so lightly about it, like about cheaters.
Well, he's a Green Bay fan. Green Bay, they love football. Football just doesn't love them back.
Oh, that's sad.
It is sad. Where are we in this right now?
26 picks for the Eagles, 25 for the Patriots, with 1 comedian left.
Let's face it, this is going to end up a tie. Why? That's just the way life works. You invest all this time into something, and you end up in a tie. Gail, who is the last person picking?
Our final comedian, the very funny Ian Fidance.
Who I think is going to win the Super Bowl? I mean, it's not a matter of fact that who I think, it's who I know, and it's them Philadelphia fucking Eagles. That's right. And I have no factual basis behind it, only just that I grew up maybe 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia. I couldn't even name one player on the team, but legally, if I don't root for them, then I can never go back home again. But really, if you want my expertise opinion, it's going to be Eagles over the Vikings. Definitely take the spread, 69-0. And I don't know, it's going to be a real rip-roaring time, and I can't wait to just tell everyone I've always loved the Eagles and loved the Birds, and I'm just so proud of my Birds. Thank you.
Ian, thank you so much. It did not end in a tie. What was the final tally on that?
27 picks for the Eagles, 25 for the Patriots.
Still pretty amazing when you think about it, right? We were one person away from a tie, and some of those people were just being wise asses.
Sure, this is true.
So I can't tell you this. I mean, you like to get the votes to go properly, but they are comedians.
Mateo picked Janet Jackson.
Oh, Mateo screwed up the whole thing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Gail, this was exciting that we did this show. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful big game weekend. And
try to have fun with it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, if your team is playing, try to relax.
Yeah.
Try to just enjoy the moment.
Look,
You gotta cherish it.
Cherish. I'm going to give you some tips for snacks, for big game snacks. Pretzels are good. Potato chips. Some potato chips even come in different flavors. So look on the bag. It might say onion or mesquite or barbecue. Pretzels pretty much come in one flavor, pretzel flavor. I've always liked little cubes of cheese, you know? You could put them on a Triscuit or a thin wheat. Which do you prefer, Chris?
Triscuit.
Give me the wheat thin or thin wheat.
Here's what I put some of this together. You can see I have the cubes and over here the Triscuits. I'm going to push this aside because we've got some done. And there's one with just I did this earlier.
Oh,
there's
good.
a cube right there on the Triscuit for you, Chris. And
thank you.
Gail, there's your thin wheat thin. It's got a cube on it. If you're keeping an eye on the calories, half a cube and a half a Triscuit. All
I'm gonna
right.
take a whole cube, Ron.
Why don't you do this? Take 2 halves, and you don't feel as fatty. Also, a little sweet after.
Yeah.
Sleeve of Oreo cookies.
Sign me up.
A sleeve per guest at the party?
Every guest gets their own sleeve. And here, if you look on this, I just wrote Patriots on this one. I wrote that in lipstick. And on this side, I wrote Eagles. So, I mean, that's just some of the fun things that you could do.
This is going to be such a fun Super Bowl. Big
Yeah.
game. Excuse me. Big, giant
Yeah, it's a big game. You say Super Bowl, we get
giant fucking game.
Also, my brother-in-law is renting out eagles in a cage, and you can have it. You just
endangered?
Yeah, they're endangered. That's why it's $4,300 for the afternoon. But somebody comes in your house and you just see a fucking eagle flapping around.
Fucking bird of prey, Ron.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for the big game. Well, we want you to enjoy yourself. They say there's more hangings this weekend than at any time. Also, more wives murdered, which is bad.
Oh, no.
Beaten and murdered, both leading categories. Halftime, they say that the reservoirs will sink because everybody's flushing their shit at the same time. So that's it from Big Game Headquarters right here in Minneapolis. I'm Ron Bennington.
And I'm Gail Bennington.
And I'm Ron Bennington saying to you, football up that football this weekend. Football! Football!
We're going to the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, oh yeah. We're going to the Super Bowl right now.
Adorable.
Going to the Super Bowl right now, guys.
Yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl right now. This is the Bennington Show, the only father-daughter show in the history of the planet Earth, asking for something from the gods and beyond. And that's a Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl win. Is it so hard? Now, I'm going to give you an example why we need this win. I'm going to play an unmasked that I did with B.J. Okerson, and he is Philadelphia's favorite son. Not Kevin Hart. Certainly not Bill Cosby. Big J. Okerson. And when you hear how hideous and horrible his upbringing was, you're going to say the same thing that anybody would say. Let that Bo have a win. Let that Bo have a win. Because, God damn it, he's horrifying. But he deserves just one victory as we started the show today with Todd Rundgren of Upper Darby. Just one victory. We've been waiting so long. And now we're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah. We're going to the Super Bowl right now. I'm going to read those lyrics one more time so that they sink into you. We're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl right now.
We're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. We're going to the Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, you should be proud of yourself for that. That's really good. All right, we're going to play Big J. Okerson, and I pray for him.
Yeah, me too. I want this for him.
Because I know he won't have an afterlife. Why can't he just enjoy just one victory? This is Unmasked with Philadelphia's own Big J. Okerson.
And now, here's the host of Unmasked, Ron Bennington.
Seems like a lot.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I've done a lot of these unmasked. I don't ever remember anything like that.
Nobody. Not even Rich Voss? Rich Voss told me it was like that.
Well, Rich was clapping that loud.
Standing in his own chair.
And then announcing dates as it was going on. This is your time, buddy. This is it. The special.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. I think so.
You know what I think they were cheering too? A guy with a boat drink coming out to do this. Just put up the drink. There it is. Yeah. They call him the Jimmy Buffett of comedy, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously, if you're not in a beach bar, that's ridiculous.
A vodka soda wine?
No, you look great.
Thank you.
You know, you got the special coming out, and how long from the time you decide I'm stepping on stage did you get to the special?
Almost 17 years.
17 years, man.
Long time.
Yeah. How long ago should you have quit? If you were a normal person.
I almost quit 2 years in.
Yeah.
Because I did that black comedy circuit so much in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I just saw the ceiling on. I didn't know how to kind of cross over it all. And the few like mainstream rooms that had some white people in it, the way they stared at me when I would hump stools. Or
Yeah. It's really strange. White people don't normally have a problem crossing over. You were the first who were like, how do I work to a white audience?
I had to learn how to work. I'd go, these people aren't going to get my P. Diddy reference.
Right.
Or my,
The only other person I know that struggled with that, and they made a movie about it, was Tarzan. And he could not feel good with his own people.
I don't understand your society.
Yeah.
Pleasantly sitting there and listening to jokes.
Now, do you know that there are...
You're not yelling at me, calling me corny.
You had to know when you were younger, when you're starting, that there are white comedy clubs are out there. We call them comedy clubs. I mean, you have to go out of your way to find a black club.
No, you could find them. They're in the boroughs.
Right.
I used to perform it. Yeah, they were all like after, and they always had great names. It was like after work, booty jam with comedy, and it'd be these like mix and mingles. So it was a bunch of black people dressed like amazingly well, just trying to pick up other black people dressed amazing. It was like a Tyrese movie or something. And then somehow that they'd go, oh, we're going to do some comedy now. And there'd always be a guy who hosted who they always love because they know him. And then it's just throw a bunch of people to the wolves.
And so you're doing those sets. How long before you started to get any kind of feedback that was positive?
Pretty quick. I came out of the gates and just did a bunch of fat jokes. So that's always easy. Like just self-deprecation, have them come at you. And then I just learned how to pander in those rooms. If you can pander pretty good. I was just doing what everyone else was doing. I'm like, oh, DJ, put that shit on one more again. And I'm like,
They thought it was great that the white boy knew.
Oh, that I knew the stuff. Yeah, the words and stuff. And then I never talked the talk very much, but I definitely I think my first BET's Comic View TV appearance, 6 months in the comedy, which shouldn't happen.
Right.
It was because there was a writer's strike. Or no, not a writer's strike. It was AFTRA. The union was they were striking or banning BET's Comic View because their payment was so bad. It was they didn't fly you out. They got you a deal on a plane ticket. They got you a deal on a hotel room, but you had to stay in this hotel, so they would pick you up, and $150 check to be on TV.
Yeah.
And I went to Atlanta to do that, and which I thought I was fucking fantastic, but my first appearance, my pant leg is rolled up like LL Cool J. I'm wearing a FUBU, which I don't even fit what that shirt says. Unless it meant like fat people. It wasn't fat though. It was for us, by us.
Well, the great thing is when you do stuff like that, it doesn't stay on the internet for the rest of your life.
You know what's funny? That is gone forever, which I'm bummed about because I always tell the story about how I used to get down to underwear on stage. And that would be the only surviving like piece of that footage because it always killed so hard. And then it said like one time I got in front of a crowd that wasn't like, you know, that open mic or the black circuit crowd,
Right.
just people who were like, you know, we're here to just be rowdy and have fun. People who paid like, I opened for somebody and did that joke and it went so bad. Like peeling off your clothes goes so fast and fun. You can't wait to get to the most intimate parts because you're like, that's where they're really going to blow the roof off this place. And then instead, when the first thing gets nothing and you're moving on, every time I took something off, I remember hearing somebody in the back just go, I take my shirt off, and someone just goes, oh, God. And then I'm turning around, and I'm doing this all to the 2001 theme, by the way. And I'm turning around, undoing my pants. Like, why am I doing this to myself? There's no reason to do this to myself. And I drop pants anyway. I'm in like leopard print underwear. And you hear someone go, Jesus Christ. And when that music would stop, normally I would just kind of hike my pants up and, you know, to cheers and people falling out of their chairs. You're like, time to go collect my pussy backstage, I guess. And, you know, you pull your pants up quick and just kind of hold them up and walk off, the hands up in the air, so, you know. And I'm standing there in a bodybuilding pose to no laughter, and that 2001 theme stops, and someone just goes, what the fuck? And I felt like it took me an hour to pull my pants. I just kept missing them. I'm like, I'm sorry. I have to get out of here. Kurt Metzger always said I should have just walked off with my pants around my ankles, like just duck walk like a sad kid who's being punished.
Well, he was always a great writer. You know, but seriously, why did you stop doing that bit?
Well, it's funny because anything you take that much of a risk.
Yeah.
When you take a big risk with those kind of acting out things, I learned early, like if it goes bad, you're probably not going to get them back at all.
Oh, you had material to follow that?
No. I mean, not that joke. No, that was my big closer.
Right.
But I've just seen things, a lot of guys, you know, on the ground, like, you know, humping the ground, doing some fuck scene that they're acting out.
Right.
And then no one's laughing. You have to get up and like dust off your dress pants and be like, so that's my thing with fucking, y'all. I'm like, wow. Having to sit there awkward and clean your dust off your pants.
I think it's just amazing. First of all, that you didn't tag it with pooping, but also that's that weird thing that young people have in the beginning. You know what I mean? That thing that like, I will do whatever I can possibly fucking do, you know, to
absolutely.
make this thing work.
Well, do you want to get a reaction too? That's the biggest, I think the most interesting thing for me. I've always been a dirty comic. And in the beginning, that was so rooted in, I didn't care if they oohed and awed, or, you know, you got about, you say something so over the top gross or so like overtly sexual, and you get the alls. At least they're making noise.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing was just trying something that was like kind of benign and funny, and no one laughs, and you're like, okay, all right, you guys didn't like that one. Anybody here ever go camping? And, you know. But at least if you're like, you know, so just that kind of that dice thing was so much what I was liked. I thought made it look cool to do comedy.
Right.
I was a fan of all comedy across the board, and definitely a student. I didn't realize I was, but I just watched it all. But when I saw Dice, I was like, oh, I'd like to do what he's doing. I didn't set a course in motion to do that. Later in life, you know, when I was like 19 years old, someone suggested I try it, and I tried it. But that kind of like in the beginning, being like that kind of Dice Clay, like offensive almost, mixed in with like the self-deprecation, you'd get the oohs and ahs or the laughs at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's just making noise from the crowd. And it's funny, I stayed so true to myself and filthy, but that now I'm trying to almost desensitize them to. I don't want the oohs and the ahs. I'm not trying to shock you.
Right.
I think that if I'm saying it now that it's funny, so I hope you laugh at it. You know what I mean?
Well,
but in the beginning, it's such a crutch.
Well, you know, for where you're at now, it always amazes me that you come out dressed the way you do. And then even in this special, I mean, there's just a ton of people there. And then you just sit on a chair and start to talk pretty quietly to the crowd.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, but your material, as you said, is not stuff that is, you know, spoken in public civilized human beings.
And yet I try to make it palatable for even like a grandmother or something, if possible. I'm always shocked sometimes at people who do love it. You know, if I see a lot of gray hair in an audience when I'm behind them before I go on stage, I'm like, oh, they're going to hate it. And I'm surprised those people walk out a lot. And it's like, I do try to send it out definitely with, I'm definitely not trying to have anybody leave like, how dare you say those things? I'm being like, wow, are you that mad about what I'm not like trying to get like to the bottom of issues or anything on stage. I just want to get like people laughing at dick humor.
Well, it is a calling, I guess. But, you know, I was thinking when you were talking about Dice, because that was kind of a starting point for you. Dice's starting point was Jerry Lewis, right? So, but when you start at Dice, when you're like, okay, this is the jump off point.
Yeah.
You know, that's a strange place. You know, where do you take that?
No, exactly. Yeah, there was no. I mean, I definitely had much more like much less harsh, less dirty jokes through time because as I would organically kind of write stuff that was dirtier or kind of like, you know, even if it was like honest, real stories that were like filthy, the comedy community doesn't really jump on that so much. And not even some people actually just hate it or they think it's an easy thing to do, which arguably I guess is. Or some people just are like, this is young comic shit. You know what I mean? It's very, people dismiss it very much and they're kind of shitty about it. And so, or comics that care about you would go, you know, some of the worst advice I ever got from some of the best people were like, you should probably, right. And I say it's worse advice for me because I don't know if the time and the way things happen is how it's supposed to be or not, but I'm okay with it.
I would hope not, by the way.
Well, I know, but the thing is maybe if I wrote super clean stuff that was like, you know, funny and I was able to get on Tonight Show or things like that years ago, maybe my track would have been different. But the beauty is I did never have to change anything. And it did finally come around, which was nice because that took fucking forever.
Yeah.
That's what it was because I'd be doing what I do and like same people now who will like work with me and are looking to even do things with me years ago were like, we don't have any idea what to do with you.
Right.
They have no idea. It's like, you can't, what am I going to do? Put you on like NBC with a butt fuck joke? It's not going to work.
Well, I mean, you know, butt fucks at 10, I think would work in some places. But, you know, the other thing is there's an odd disrespect for crowd work. And, you know, to do it, to me, is like to work without a net. Just go out there and start talking and kind of know you're going to find those jokes. But networks or even comedy clubs, they'll watch the tape and they'll go, okay, it worked with that crowd, you know, but we're not going to get that show. And then you have to convince them that you do this shit every night.
Yeah, it's definitely a gamble for them to take the first time if you bring me in. But I mean, the thing is also at this point now, I have like an arsenal of jokes. Like if the crowd's not giving anything, I can't just pound them jokes into them for a while. That's not a problem. But I mean, like I like to engage as much as possible. And it's just, I give a speech before we do the crowd work show and I bring other comics on to do it. And some of them are nervous and some of them don't want to go at certain times because everything's going to be used up and just.
Everybody wants to be first.
But it's the tapping in, man. Yeah, everybody wants to be first. Patrice gave me just like not even advice, but like a speech before. But it was. I remember sitting at a table with him, and it was one was something regurged that Tracy Morgan said to him. He told him, and Tracy probably won't remember this.
Sure.
It wasn't an accident joke. I'm saying he's a fucking lunatic before that. Does everybody remember Tracy's a little different?
Right.
Pre-accident?
Yeah. Isn't that funny though? Like 2 weeks before, everybody went, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now they're like, hey, you mean the other thing? Or the first?
Right.
Tracy Morgan just said, go on stage and don't be afraid to say the thing that you like. You know, it might not be funny when you say it out loud. Like people might go, no. He goes, but just try it anyway. Like, almost like have the ball sack to do that. And Patrice's advice was more like, we all start doing comedy because, you know, someone told you were funny or you were the funny person in your group of friends, generally speaking.
Right.
And when you were funny around your group of friends or funny at work or whatever it was, you didn't prepare for that. You weren't like over rehearsing what to do. It was like you just knew you were. You knew your place in in the group. You know what I mean? You weren't the guy who can. I wasn't the guy who can dunk. I wasn't the fastest. You know.
No, you weren't.
Believe it or not. Believe it or not. With these calves. With these calves. But so my thing was always kind of being funny. But it really is like how long you have to do comedy to get to the point where you are the same confident and you're funny as you were with your buddies.
Right.
And that really is the thing. And that kind of is in me in working with the crowd and trying to make it as like
it's a street
integrated
corner.
as possible.
Right.
Because you're just trying to have like a hang with them.
Yeah.
More than like the worst tech, is do your jokes or do some jokes. And I'm like, buy my album, fuckface. Like, who cares about it? It's like my jokes. Like I'm giving you a real moment here where something weird might happen.
By the way, for any young comics at home, it's fuckface that made that work. But
two hard F's and a hard C in there.
But yeah, that was the traditional way of being funny, where you're standing out with your buddies, you're busting the balls of somebody that could whip your ass, but you're doing it at the right level that they're going to laugh along and have a good time. But now there's like a generation of kids, like alt comedy people, who they got it from either watching videos and stuff, and then they start to write, and they weren't that guy. They weren't the funny guy.
No. There's you look at something you can learn how to make people laugh for sure. There's definitely several comics who are even good comics,
right?
Who off stage you're like, all right, this guy's got the personality of corkboard.
Yeah, but it's always shocking, right? When
it is, and it happens. But I tend to see those aren't. I tend to flock to people who are funnier, like off stage, than I even care about how they are on stage. My friends are very indicative of that. I mean, they run everything from like guys who do open mics still. Doing produced shows. I mean, these are people who come to my house for like UFC events or something. It's all over the place. Everything from my last UFC event was a rainbow of, a few years in, open mic guy, and Bill Burr came by for a while. And like, they're all people I know and hang out with. And that's because all those people make me laugh.
How quick before Bill said, I got to get the fuck out of here?
You know what? He hung in there.
Yeah. Just he's trying to watch the fight, some kid. So is it timing, Bill? Is that it? It's about timing? Is that what you're looking for?
Actually, ironically, what Bill was doing was regaling everyone with the tales of what his new rich adventures are. He's like, so I got my helicopter license. Here's me flying over the Rose Bowl. I mean, without exaggeration. But yeah, where I'm going, like, all right, Bill, you jack off. The open micers are like, wow. Do you get your pilot license from the Comedy Store? I got to go to L.A.
I think Bill is proving that you can lose all your money without a coke problem. It's a whole new thing.
It's like I bought my house a house.
Yeah. Oh shit! I forgot to feed my white lions. I'll be right back, everybody.
He's got Mike Tyson taste. Just Bill Burr wearing a Sox jersey and a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
I hope he lives like Boss Hogg wherever he lives. Just wears like bolo ties. Always fresh iced tea.
Yeah. But you can see where Jay came from. That always fresh iced tea is something you think rich people have.
A nice afternoon. An afternoon Snapple Peach iced tea. Not talking nighttime party time.
Yeah.
Talking a little daytime iced tea.
Well, you were talking about you and, inviting these young guys to be part of your tribe. But when you were young, you kind of were mentored or became friends with a lot of people who were just amazing. And Patrice is obviously one of them. But who are some of the other names?
Pure luck on all of them. When I say that I was going to quit after like 2 years, I planned on going just back to college. I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'll still do it as a hobby, but like I just don't know where to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at myself, and I got my pant leg up, and I'm fucking, I'm not me. I'm not big.
Right.
So I was like, I'm just going to go back to college, I guess. And I was going to take a job. I had to train for 3 days doing the Cutco, the knives.
Right.
For the summertime, 3 days of training you have to go to. On the third day of training, Michael Blackson called me out of nowhere. You know who Michael Blackson is? He's the African king of comedy. He's on TV right now. He came out of Philadelphia.
he called me up and he goes, you want to do a gig tonight? And I said yes, just blindly. I was like, you know what, I don't care. You know, I got excited.
Right.
If someone offered me a gig at all.
Yeah, and you might be able to sell some knives.
Yeah. I could move knives, tell some dick jokes, hump a stool. He goes, do you want to do this gig? I said, yeah, I do. And I was like, I'll just not go to the train, see if I can go another day or something. He goes, go to the airport. There's a ticket waiting for you. And I flew myself, obviously, to Comic View. But besides that, I'd never been flown anywhere to do comedy. I thought that was really neat. It was like some gig in Minneapolis. It was a one-nighter. And I got to the airport, and I was opening for someone. I didn't know who, and then a guy approached me at the airport, and he goes, hey, young fella, I'm Keith. It's Keith Robinson.
Right.
And he goes, I'm seeing you around the Laugh House and stuff. I've never introduced myself. And I didn't know who he was. I'm like, okay, another comic. You know, I'm opening for him. Great. And on the plane, we were sitting in different spots, but his seat was open next to him. So he calls me, come back with him, which I thought was nice. And then he starts telling me tales. It looks like he's trying to let me know he knows everybody in comedy. But in my years in the black comedy circuit, these names aren't even like, I mean, I know who they are, but they're not blowing my mind. But I don't believe he knows them either. Does that make sense? And by the way, this guy, this is no disrespect to any people he named. It's just that I'm like, he doesn't really know these guys. And I'm like, maybe he does. It's a weird one to name. He's like, so if you're doing all black comedy circuit only, the name Colin Quinn doesn't mean much to you. The guy's a legend. The guy's fantastic. He's been an amazing person to me in my career.
But yet you still don't know how to pronounce his name. Not Cullen.
Colin Quinn. He goes, he said something about Colin Quinn, and I was like, you know Colin Quinn? He goes, yeah, he spanks. You know, he's doing like his Keith thing. I said something about watching some show that Jim Brewer was on recently, and he goes, Jimmy, I'm going to tell Jimmy next time I see him, I'll crack his head open. But, you know, just doing his Keith thing. And I'm almost doing like the eye roll, like, all right, dude, I get it, you know. It's like you tell me the one time you shook hands with these guys or whatever. And then also because I'm like, we're going to do this same shitty black show in fucking Minneapolis. So how does he know all these people? And we do the show, and I open for Keith, and I'm taking my clothes off still.
Smart.
You could do anything with this song. DJ, hit that one more time. And Keith watches me, and he does his set, and he does great. So funny. But I have much more of an explosive reaction because I'm doing all the hackneyed shit you do in those scenarios. So when the thing's over, Keith's giving me a talk. He's like, you're a funny kid, you know, just got to we got to get you out to New York, you know, get you around the scene a little bit. You're a little like kind of one-dimensional in this. He's like, but you're really funny. You got a good base, you know, for what you're doing. But let me help you out a little bit. And in interrupting his conversations, no one's talking to Keith really, but I'm taking so many pictures with like heavy set black women in front of an airbrush picture of Tupac in Ferraris. So I'm like, I don't know what this guy's giving me advice about. He's over sitting there all lonesome, and I'm fucking here with these two girls. Yeah. And because Keith had a set that wasn't necessarily made for like that scenario. I was catering it completely to that scenario. Sure. And I went outside and I called Kevin Hart. And I go, Kev, I'm doing a show with this guy Keith, who's sitting there all lonely now. I'm in there fucking elbow deep in black ass. So fucking, they love me so much. And he goes, and Kev goes, yeah, Keith Robinson. He goes, I talked to that guy. He said he was going to try to take me and you up to New York. And something I was like, really? He goes, and Kev goes, yeah, I think he's like the real deal thing. And so we went up with Keith in New York one time. The first night we went up there, he got I think he got Kev up on stage at Gotham. He got me up on stage at New York Comedy Club, and he got us dates for auditions at the Comic Strip. And Keith always says that one of the coolest moments in his memory is because, you know, especially where we were to where we are, especially where Kev is. You know, we got those auditions at the Comic Strip dates, and we came outside. He's like, Kev jumped up in my arms like a Super Bowl hug. And Keith goes, every once in a while, Keith gets in and just calls me. He goes, I remember that day Kev jumped in your big dumb arms. But
I'm not familiar with Kevin Hart. What's he? He's
got some films.
Yeah,
he's got some films.
Yeah. So that was you three guys at that time.
And then I kind of brought, I was so intrigued by Kurt Metzger when he came to the Laugh House because he's in the same circuit I am, grinding it out with these great jokes, and he's just he's dealing with the, shut up, you corny. And we didn't know how to really do anything about that, so he just go up there.
So he wasn't pandering?
No. You know what's funny? Right at the end, right before we came to New York, started coming up to New York, I should say, to try to get into the mainstream open mics and all that stuff. Right before we got there, Kurt had one joke, and it was about, he goes, you know, and he used the words, you know, when you're taking a doo-doo and you worry people be looking at your shoes? And I was like, oh no. Kurt's about to turn. We got to get him out of here. They used to call Kurt, bring him back Kurt, because he'd go on stage and the comics all knew how good he was. Right. The comics all respected it. But, you know, the crowd sometimes just turn on him, so they call him Bring Him Back Kurt, because Kurt would go up. They shit on him until he got off stage, and then the host would go up there and goes, come on, man, you guys can't just be booing him because he's a goofy white dude. You got to give him a chance to be funny. Man, this dude's really funny. Trust me. We're going to bring him back one more time. Come on back. Bring him back out, Kurt. And then Kurt would have to, and I'd always look at Kurt, I'm like, don't go. But he'd go. He fucking went every time, man. He was great. Balls to the wall.
Yeah. That's like saying, let's bring the rape victim back one more time. Everybody.
Yeah, fight back, rape victim. Redo. He would go out there. Yeah, so...
but he could always write, right from the beginning, right?
Always, from the beginning. Yeah. It's amazing jokes. And so I kind of brought him into the fold, and the three of us started coming up to New York. Now, the reality is, in the realm of comedy, like, my comedy and Keith's comedy doesn't really... We could do shows together for sure, and we've done a zillion showcases in New York City. But like going on the road with Keith, like with what I did, I don't think Keith. I wasn't the right fit to go on the road with Keith. Robert Kelly took me on the road with him right out of the gate. He still lived in L.A. and he brought me out to. He goes, "Hey, he offered it to Kev. Kev couldn't do it. He goes, I got 3 colleges coming up, 3 nights in a row. If you drive, like I'll bring you to open for me." And Kev turned it over to me, and he's like, "Sure, I'll bring you." This is one of my favorite stories ever. I come from Philly. I pick up Bobby in New York. We drive somewhere really deep, a couple hours into Connecticut or something, and we do a show there. We come back that night. No, I'm sorry. The next night we drive all the way up to almost the Canadian border. So it's like another 6 hours. I'm driving the whole time. And we stay there the night. We come back. We spend the night at his apartment because I lived in Philly. I sat up in a chair and fell asleep. I was snoring. This is a guy I don't know very well. I wake up because I'm snoring so loud, apparently. He threw a fun size pack of M&Ms at my ear. It boxed my ear. And I woke up ready to fight. And he's like a guy who I respect because of where he is, you know what I mean? And he's like, shut the fuck up, dude. And I'm like, you just bumped my ear. And he like apologized. It was fine, obviously, after a while. Then we drove all the way down, like way down, like the bottom of Maryland or Virginia Beach or something. And then we drive back right past my house in South Jersey was the time. I take him back to New York, turn around and go back down to South Jersey. It was like over the course of 3 days, we did like an insane amount of driving.
Yeah.
But I was happy to do it. I got the exposure with Bobby. It was colleges, but Bobby's a great comic, and he was getting to like me, maybe bring me on some more stuff. I get back to the Comedy Cellar a couple nights later. This is well before I ever worked there. But I'd hang out there every night because Keith brought us into that fold where it's every night. It's Colin, it's Patrice, it's Bill Burr, it's DePaulo.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's there, hang out. Norton, Florentine. They're all hanging out, and Keith goes, "Hey, how'd the weekend go with Bobby?" I go, "Good." He goes, "What'd he pay you?" So I just go, $300. And he goes, that's good. $300 a show. That's pretty cool. I go, and I'm just correcting him. I'm not upset. I go, no. He gave me $100 a show. It was $300 for the trip. He go, $300 for the trip? Patrie! He starts getting everybody. And they call Bobby on speakerphone. And this is... We're going back to StarTax, like, those phones. They got him on speakerphone, and they held a trial the rape trial of me, the accused, Bobby Kelly. And what's great about the whole thing is I just want to work with Bobby Kelly again.
Right.
The money, I didn't think I was going to get a lot of money. I didn't know what big money in any way was or good money. I just getting whatever. And so it's me yelling in the background, them shutting me up and cursing me out and calling me names. Because I'm in the background going, Bobby, it's not me. I don't care. I'm totally fine with it. I don't care. And Bobby's laughing. He's playing along with the whole thing. And he goes along with it. They found him guilty. Keith was Bobby's lawyer. Patrice was mine. Patrice won. The tables, the Comedy Cellar are chalkboards, and you can draw on them. And then they drew the newspaper with Bobby in jail and me crying. And I knew it wasn't over because the next morning, I don't even know if I had a cell phone yet. I had a house phone. I get a call on my house phone, and that voice right out of the gate, even though he played along and laughed, and I'm yelling, it's not my thing, Bobby. I answer the phone, and Bobby just goes, I go, hello? I hear, you don't tell people what you make, dude. And this is like a skinny, thin, in good shape Bobby. And I remember like a month later, he did Mohegan Sun. I think Mohegan Sun had just opened, and I did Mohegan Sun with him. And he goes, I'll give you $300 for the one gig. Let's go up to Mohegan Sun. So I do it. And he walks me to an ATM after the gig. He goes, what'd I tell you I was giving you? I was like, 300, you said. He goes, here's 400. Go tell people that, you fat asshole.
That's so great. So, for a young guy like that, you're in through the looking glass now, right? You're in a completely different world.
It is, and the beauty of my career, for whatever it was even if I wasn't like in the dances, I always felt like in the game. I felt like I was always right in the perimeter, and that was Keith Robinson, because I was able to build organic friendships with people who might have not taken an interest in me otherwise.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I think Patrice kind of had the same outlook as me. I was an open mic comic, essentially, trying to get in to some of these clubs, and Patrice just liked me as a dude, me and Kev, because we were Keith's guys. So
Right.
I would be able to hang out with him on a level that a lot of people wouldn't,
Sure.
if I came into New York even early one day, I can go, hey, Patrice, guys, hang at your house. He lived with Will Sylvan still at the time. And they were, just roommates, and I'd go hang out with Patrice for a couple hours. And that was like invaluable, and then Patrice started taking me on the road a little bit too. And again, I worked well with Patrice on the road. That was a good thing. But Patrice was trying to feed a lot of people with that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he was spreading it out. And then the person with my audience kind of came built into that and all these guys I can never repay enough. And I mean that. But for as far as like getting me out there and just like day-to-day coaching of comedy and what to do was I worked with Dave Attell one time at Caroline's, and I opened for him, and he was complimentary. He said it was a good job. When I got into the Comedy Cellar right away, which is about 11 years ago now, when I got into the cellar, people that were like mad that I got into the cellar started saying around town, they go, and I was very influenced by him without a doubt, and our voices have a similar thing, and they go, oh, you're just doing Attell. And I go, I get what you're saying, but I mean, like, I do a different thing than Attell. You know what I mean? I know what you mean, and sure, maybe, but I was like, I'm not trying to step on his toes, so my thing was to attack the problem. At least, I went to Dave Attell one night, and this is maybe our third conversation ever, and I go, hey, Dave, people are just saying that I'm really ripping your shit off, and it's making me uncomfortable. Would you watch me and let me know what you think? And he goes, sure. And I went on.
It's beautiful. First of all, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And he watched my set. I'd always go on like either right before him or right after him.
Mm-hmm.
I think I went after him, and he watched my set. I watched. You could still smoke inside, and I remember like as I'm hitting punchlines, I'm kind of looking in that hallway area at him, and he's like like nodding his head, half chuckling at best. And I get off and I go, "What do you think, man? Is there any problem with that?" And I always remember it was September, but I don't remember what. He just goes, "Do you want to open for me at the Stress Factory, September, blah blah blah, or whatever." And he never told me if he thought I sounded like him or not. I always thought it was interesting, and I always wondered years later if that was like, maybe if he thought I did, if he kind of took me under his wing like that, maybe I would be forced to not. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I have to go in front. We can't do the same person doing a two-man show together. So maybe he did, but he took me all over the country, and he's just like sang my song louder than anybody, just putting me on. And I mean, you know, it's not super public knowledge at all. I haven't told it on almost anything, but right before I got the Comedy Central hour, he called me up one day and just said, "This is ridiculous. Like, you have to have an hour of comedy out there." He goes, "I'll give you X amount of dollars, get a production company to match that, and he goes, you will get your special there." He goes, and he's like, "Talk to my production guys, they'll probably do it." He's like, "But you guys, this is ridiculous." Like, he's promoted me more than anything. So
That's
it's like that. And that was a guy who's like, yeah, it's just like, you know, he said things on stage, you know, he's such a curmudgeon in that delivery.
Right.
And, you know, he'll say, he goes, "Did you guys like Jay?" He goes, "I hope so. I have to raise him like a baby." Or he made fun of my daughter once, and he goes, "No, you can laugh. It's okay. I feed her."
But I think that's like the amazing thing is that you ended up becoming friends and also being mentored by the funniest fucking people I've ever seen.
The funniest to me, for sure.
But I mean, like, the people that we're talking about are like scary funny. Like, it's difficult to sit next to David Tell and riff for a little while and not go, "Oh shit, maybe I'm not funny even slightly." You know?
Yeah.
That's what a normal person who wouldn't be insane would say to themselves.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
"Well, this is stupid. Someone was already doing all this." You know? But did that kind of stuff ever, like, do you ever look when you're younger at some of those guys and go, "I'll never get to that point," you know?
I thought that about their level of talent, but that's always. I thought that when I said I first went to those open mics in the Laugh House in Philadelphia, the guy that was humping the stool the hardest and, you know, doing whatever, breaking down a hip hop song or something, and destroying the room. I was like, wow, like that ability to do that, even if whether you're pandering or what, to get that reaction from people, always impressed me. There was, you know, people who stopped doing comedy 3 months after that are just like, if they knew how to do well in that moment, I was like, that's pretty impressive. So this, what it was by getting to that level of guys was guys who also made that look very easy.
Yeah.
Looked effortless. That's where it started to look more fun. And these guys weren't in like the day-to-day, like, why do you want to know where I'm working at? Or you want to know if you can work, you know, the who books that joke and who books that? Who books that? And just these guys being friends and just being dickheads and being funny. And then going from, I'm very much aspired to have that feeling of like the transition from stage and off stage is nothing.
Right.
To be like, you could be having a conversation and they go, "Jay, they're calling your name," and then go, "Oh yeah, wait, I'll finish that when I come back." And then not that it's like, "I'm on in 5. Let me go walk outside around, listen to a song that gets me pumped up," or, you know, just being it. And I thought those guys showed me how to do that.
Well, seriously, you could sit and talk to almost any of those people, and they throw away things in a conversation that other comics would build an entire act around, you know,
absolutely.
and it's just falling off of them. It's crazy.
And a guy and it's funny to see a guy like David Tell who has just no interest in a podcast. Where I'm like, it would be the best one ever.
Sure.
He doesn't, you know, Patrice never really got around the time where that was a thing.
But you know, well, he had done a little bit, yeah. And all that stuff is just gold. But you know what I really love about Attell is like no one knows him really. You know, like he almost has like this Batman thing where he shows up, fucking does something unbelievable, and then he's gone. And then people are like, does he have a family? Does he live somewhere else? What happens with him? No one knows really.
You know, it's funny, and being a cigarette smoker with him all those years too, and just being outside, and you know, also like an anxious person, and all the same things we share on several different levels. Just being awake with him all night. We've done a lot of overnight drives that were 7 hours. I've been in cars with him for 9-hour drives to and from places, and just picking his brain. Like, I do get to know him, and I remember saying to Christine before, like. Or even like even years before that with my ex-wife, I remember driving home sometimes back to Long Island at night, and just like a 3 a.m. phone call from David Tell. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? I'm in Austin. I'm bored. I'm smoking." And I'd hang up the phone and I go, "Am I possibly David Tell's best friend in the world?" I'll call him my best friend right now. If he's my best friend, I go, I might be his best friend in the world. But a thing like that, man, I mean, when he did Tell's Comedy Underground, which I had a chance to, and you were such a big promoter of that, I knew the talent producer on that. And it was funny. I found out actually at this club here at the stand. I went outside when someone I got a third hand. They go, "You hear David Tell got a showcase series he's hosting on Comedy Central." I went, "Oh, neat! Like I'm going to be on TV." And they were like, "What do you mean?" I go, "I just know it's not a cocky thing. I just know what I know him.
Right.
I know I know who he takes care of." And I made a guess, and the only one I missed was Russ Maneve, which I would have thought for 5 more seconds I would have got. But I asked the producer, I go, "I can ask you a question." I go, "When this deal was made, right in the deal out of the gates, me, Joe DeRosa, Kurt Metzger, Mike Vecchione, Louis Katz," and he goes, "Yes," and Russ Maneve, and that was part of the deal. I knew it.
Right.
I just know it tells. So it's like you can't, someone handing you a credit like that is like something that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And then he also flew in Jimmy Schubert, who, Tommy Rhodes. I mean, if you sit down and watch those shows from the underground, you're like, this is exactly what anyone's fantasy about what comedy is.
Showcase on TV, especially.
Yeah, the room is perfect. The comics, everybody just comes up and slays.
Absolutely.
And Attell was just weaving himself in and out. It was just brilliant, Well, that was the kind of group that came for you, but you're tight with a lot of people that are kind of your own class. And
my own class now. And what's great about that is where some of the successes kind of like, I missed a lot of them in certain years, kind of like the after 10-year mark.
Right.
Happened. The people that got them really looked out for me too. So, I mean, I've done Amy's. I mean, Amy gave me, would call me to ask me advice or questions. We're talking when she was doing open mic, and she's put me on her show several times. What she did for me on the Oddball tour with some of the behind-the-scenes stuff there was amazing. She was great. And just like the people in the good graces of like Comedy Central, like the Mark Normans of the world, would like say my name. They'd list me as someone they looked up to or thought was really good. And so my name kept coming around again. And then really, Ari Shaffir, fought for me. He actually admitted this, and I found this out the other day. I didn't know. But I knew that when he had his show, which is on the internet still, he wanted me to come out and do it. His This Is Not Happening, storytelling show. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to do it. I'm ready. I got a story ready to go, whatever. He fought Comedy Central. They did not want to do it. They didn't want me to come out. They wanted, and by the way, they just wanted to keep it all L.A. It was supposed to be just L.A. guys, the web show. They weren't pumping a lot of money into it, but Ari goes, I got him to fly you out, and you're going to stay with me at my place, at my apartment, and we're going to get you on the show. He told me the other day, he goes, oh, no, I flew you out. He goes, because I didn't want you to feel bad, which I thought was amazing. But he would put me up at his place, and I went out and I did a good job for him, and they brought me back the second season, and he didn't have to fight for me. But, him putting me back in with Comedy Central like that and fighting for me, giving me that opportunity is something I couldn't repay.
I went back and watched that, and I still feel like Comedy Central made a mistake. What are they doing? But, does that kind of stuff, when you're in it that long, and knowing that the gatekeepers are saying no, how crushing is that? Yeah.
Oh,
when everybody we're talking about who knows comedy better than I do, go on the stage, those people are behind you. But the people that hold the gates and who make the decisions, whether you get national exposure, not in your corner at that time.
Sure. And look, a lot of it, I started to get like just resentful towards myself even because, what I did was, because I grew up the way I grew up, like my dad wasn't around a lot when I was young. So when that's not a sad story, I had a stepfather and everything was great. But the way I felt about my dad at the time, when I had a daughter at 23, I didn't want her to be removed from that. So I was a little locked out of doing hey, go to LA for a couple weeks in February. It's pilot season. Maybe you jump on, you just kind of get your name in the mix. I never went to LA. I'd go once every couple of years if I got some little thing to do that was worth going out there. But I couldn't take a week and go not make money. Or I'd have to go do a ski trip show for the black comedy circuit to make $700 because I had, and that was like amazing money to me at the time, and I had to do that, So I got stifled a little bit in that. A lot of people didn't know who I was and everything. And then my daughter, I think there is a correlation, and I don't regret that at all because she does have a very good. She knows me, She knows I'm part of her life. And what's funny about it is now. She's 13, so she doesn't give a shit quite as much. She does more than she lets on to. But it is funny, if I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks, I'm like, I love you so much. I'm going to be gone for 3. I miss you. I hate that I don't get to see you. I overdo it. Even put on slightly because I do miss her, but I'm just trying to let her know it's like, I love you and I wish I didn't have to not see you for 3 weeks. She's always like, huh? Can I? She's like, can you give me money because my friends are having a sleepover and blah, blah, blah. She doesn't. So it's funny because I've hopefully done the job right enough with what I was trying to do that it's not weighing on her the way it's weighing on me. If I was going to be, hey, I'm going to be gone for 3 months, I got to film a TV show. Where at? I'd go LA. She goes, can I come see LA? Like, it has nothing to do with it being apart from me, which is good. I've done that. So when I felt that out of her, I knew it was okay at time. And just some advice. And my friend Michelle, who was supposed to be here and I couldn't be here, become a very good friend of mine. It was nice to hear coming from a woman. She's the one who produced Ha, the musical that me and Lewis did. The off-Broadway musical about stand-up comedy. But she said to me, I remember so funny, she goes, listen.
I'm sorry, I was just thinking about you two singing and dancing on stage.
And cane dancing.
Yeah.
She's funny. She's a really, unabashed personality. She definitely goes big. And she was, when I first did Ha, the musical, it was before a lot of these things happened.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're going to be great. You're going to do something, but you got to come out to LA more. You could always stay at my place, but she's made her home available to me when I go out there, which is a big, big deal. To have a place, like a home base, feels like an actual house. And she goes, but I go, yeah, I'm just worried about being gone so much because of my daughter. She's only at the time maybe 11. She's only 11 years old. And she goes, what? I go, I want to be there for there's soccer games and things like that. She goes, when you can go, you go. But if you have to be gone to do for work stuff, I go, but it means a lot. I think it means a lot that I'm there at these games. And she goes, yeah, it is. When you can go, you go. She goes, I remember my dad as a blur in a suit when I was younger. She goes, but when he was there, but he was a blur in a suit most of the time because that's how we got to go to good schools and got to do, and then I know there's a balance you got to find between those two things, but I hope that I did in the sacrifice maybe of maybe more financial success in comedy earlier.
Yeah, I think if you take the time, and it's probably right now, not right now, because she's 13?
Yeah.
But in a couple of years when you sit her down and you let her know how much she hurt your career, that it'll all start to sink in.
It's been a real burden on my career.
Yes. I mean, who knows?
Dad, why can't I get Beats headphones?
Yeah.
And I'm like, because of you.
Yeah. Right. And you could be like, or I could be opening a movie with The Rock this week. And it could have fucking happened.
No one's ever thought I've looked at a picture of Kev on any movie poster and been like, that could have been me. I could have been Soul Plane.
Yeah. And the sad thing is you have so many different posters to look at now.
Yeah.
Fucking Kev just put out 2 movies while we were sitting. But I do want to talk about your special, and it's Saturday night. And here's the deal on that too, is this is
Friday night technically.
Oh, Friday night, okay, but it's late Friday night.
It's Friday. It's Saturday. It's Friday midnight into Saturday. Yeah.
Friday at midnight.
Yep.
Which is Saturday. Okay. But you know what? Let's do it Black Circuit style. So. It's Friday night.
I was saying earlier. That's not
work.
Black. After work jamboree.
But did it come out the way that you wanted to? Because I know any of your friends know what a dream this was for you. How a lot of times it wasn't a positive feeling, that it was not within your grasp. Did you get the show you wanted to get
that night? I feel like I did. Yeah, when I did it that night, I haven't watched it through since we did it. But that night when I was done, I felt like, I go one of those 2 shows straight through. Either one of them would work. I felt, that was like I said, for as gruff as I am, especially on stage and obnoxious, I guess it could be at times.
Yes,
it is fun. I'm oddly sensitive and sentimental, and just to see the line, to the best of my knowledge, I hope I'm not speaking out of school on this, but I think the audience coordinator who does for all these specials to make sure there's an audience there no matter what. There's a list she has. She reaches out. People come and fill the audience. I believe on 2 shows at Webster Hall, I think they never had to go to that list. I think it was all 100% fans. People flew in for it and all kinds of, which I thought was like, the fact that anyone would fly anywhere.
Yeah.
The fact that someone fly in this, and you know, and how much, I was going to get to this more before we said goodbye at some point, but like what your show, when it was a Ron and Fez show to Bennington, what you guys did for my career was insane. That's won't take it. That was the catalyst. Like, forget industry, stand-up comedy industry at all. When I would go on the road, your fans showed up for me. And like some of the friendships I have, even with your, I mean, like Shreka Love and the people I hear on your thing, and Liz Sets Fire. These people come to my, I'm thinking I'm going to see Liz this weekend in Miami. They come to my stuff always, and they're just so sweet. And like that support is something else.
Well, that was the amazing thing that night. Like you said, people flew in for your special, but so many of your friends were there. Your family was there. The set is amazing. The band that was rocking before. Yeah. I mean, everything was terrific. And I never was at anything that somebody wanted, everybody wanted you to have the show that you wanted to have. I mean, it was incredibly touching. It was a really, really touching night. And the friends that you have, and these are, by the way, hilarious people. I mean, you bust balls with all of your friends, but these are just fall down funny people.
Yeah.
And for them to show up and be like slightly nervous before, like, is this going to happen? And then when it's happening, they're looking around and they're loving it. And I would see you land a joke, and I'd look over at your parents, and I saw when your dad found out that his dick is smaller than your stepfather's. You know, I was there for that magical moment.
My favorite thing about that was I know Christine was there going like, oh, watch. There's his dad. There's his stepdad.
Yeah, she pointed it out.
She couldn't wait.
She was actually going, wait till he gets to the dick stuff. This is going to kill you. And I thought, but seriously, that thing of everybody coming together and knowing that this was a dream for you. I mean, you don't get to see people make their dreams come true, you know?
And that's what that night was. Like I said, when it was over, I think I tearily even said to like Christine, I go, there it is. Like, that's my Delirious or my Bill Cosby himself. Sorry, bad timing.
Yeah.
But, you know.
No,
but
it still works. Still works for the
But when I was young.
Philly.
Yeah, sure. Temple, you? But, you know, I mean, just like that, those legendary performances.
Sure.
Not that it's just like that. It's the ones you just know them by name. It's like, I got my one out there. If that's the, you know,
and that'll be it.
Wherever it goes from there.
Yeah.
Who knows? My point just being like, it's there. Like, I have a piece of work that's like in the world.
Well, I even talked to you before then, and you were concerned about getting to this point, that you had looked at this spot on the horizon for so long that you were like, now what will happen to me?
Yeah, I do wonder that.
You were saying to me, I think I'm going to die after this happens, because
I'm still not completely convinced I'm not going to die.
Well, you will, but not for a while. I mean, you won't die the way you did on the black circuit, but it'll be easier. It'll be easier when you die. But that thing of very few people know that I've set my goal on something. It was kind of that Super Bowl moment, and I never been with a bunch of people who cared about somebody. Like, nobody was thinking about themselves. It was an amazing experience, you know.
Well, it was amazing, and I think I'm such a mother hen in a weird way with my friends, and I kind of, with a lot of them, I think I'm kind of the center of the spider web. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people necessarily who don't hang out with each other.
There's no way Gomez and Soda are going to be together unless you're there.
Well, not happily. You need a conduit there, someone to go between. But no, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of people that, and again, everyone's sort of friends, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of the center of, everyone is of their own web,
sure.
But it's an interesting one that I have for sure, that I feel very lucky to have.
But it's generations of hilarious people. It's generations of just some of the funniest minds. But for those people to show up that night and not be ball busting, you know what I mean?
No, yeah, they were excited, yeah.
Be looking at this and, standing outside in between shows, everyone's like, the first show fucking crushed, so now he's free to do the second show. And do you know if they use more second or first?
Second.
Yeah, I thought that was, everyone felt like that was going to happen because you could have put out the first show, right? You could have just said, that's it. But when that weight came off your shoulders, you were really free.
It was, I remember during the taping of the second show, I remember sitting up weirdly at one point because I was going, "Oh, you're on fucking TV, idiot!" I was like so relaxed into it,
Right.
where I was almost at a reaction, kind of like, "So, what do you guys want to talk about?" I was like, "Oh shit, this is." I know there's a prompter telling me what I have to talk about.
Right. So you kind of knew while it was happening. You were like, "Yeah, this is the one that I want to happen that way."
Yeah, I was feeling really good about it. I wanted to make it big, and God bless Comedy Central. They let me kind of roll with it and do whatever. Getting to this set that day, which you'll see when the special comes out, I walked out and and the director Jeff Tomsick who's amazing. He's going like, "All right, when you come out," he goes, "you'll be standing there when the light comes on. You're going to come down and just shake hands with everybody on all three sides. Then you kind of take your seat, drink it all in." I go, "Cool." He goes, "Just be careful with the corners there because the cryojets." And I go, "The cryojets?" He goes, "Yeah, we got cryojets." And they blow those that air up, and it just looks like a wrestling entrance. It's amazing. It's so over the top, but I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's so over the top, and then I go sit on a stool for an hour. I mean, it looks like I'm coming out to human cannonball into the balcony.
Yeah. Well, it looked amazing, and like I said, I mean, the night was just one of those nights that happened, and I mean, the fact that you worked this long to get there, does it feel sweeter, or do you wish this was your 7th?
No, I'm happy. I'm happy the way. You know what? As long as it happened in any way, like I'm okay with the timeline that it happened. Everything you get, I'll say specifically in comedy, you always feel like you were a couple years past it. I remember, funny thing,
Right.
Russ Maneve said this to me when I went on the Dave Attell Insomniac tour. I did the East Coast with him, and we did Westbury Music Fair was the last night of the tour. And Russ Maneve, we're on this tour bus. It's wrapped in Dave Attell's face, cool picture of him, and it says inside. People running out of their houses when we drive through neighborhoods. I mean, it was the height of that show. When we pull up, the college kids are losing their mind. People love it. And then Russ Maneve goes, "How's it been?" I go, "I'm having a ball. I think this is so cool. We're on a tour bus. This is nuts." I go, "Attell seems like he's annoyed by the whole thing."
Yeah.
I go, "He just kind of smokes cigarettes," and he's like, when people come up there banging on the bus, like, "Dave Attell." He's like, "Should I go out there?" And the tour manager will be like, no, you're going to create a whole thing. He's like, he just seems like so dealing with other things in his mind, and the fact that we're traveling in a bus that's his picture on his tour at these sold out theaters. You know what I mean? And I said to Russ Maneve, I was like, "Yeah, he just seems so unaffected, and almost annoyed by this whole thing." And he goes, "Yeah, well, when anything you get ever, don't you always feel like could have done this 3 years ago, could have used this 3 years ago?" And he's kind of right. You know what I mean? But it's not that but you have to look at it as the more time you don't get things. I have to tell a lot of friends this with that Montreal Just for Laughs festival is still such an early on thing you want to get in comedy. You just want to have it on your resume. I did this festival. It's the comedy festival. And when they don't get it, you go, well, you auditioned for it, you didn't get it, so you're going to audition next year, and you're going to be another year strong. It doesn't matter. I got it at 5 years. It was worthless.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I did it Just for Laughs, the New Faces, you go up there, you get a deal, and they're giving everyone deals. Then a couple people got those deals, and it went to shit. They started giving out these deals so regularly, nothing was coming of them. So they stopped doing that, and that's when I went to Montreal. It didn't matter. I did it 5 years, and I think Kurt did it at 8-9 years in the comedy Metzger. But I'll tell you what, I don't know what Montreal did for Metzger so much either. But I know when I watched Kurt do his New Faces, I was like, man, was he even 4 or 5 more years ready for this? He stood out. Where I did okay on it, but that year that Metzger did New Faces is when Robbie Prawl, who at the time was booking, it was his first year booking Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal, and he only took 2 gambles that year, weirdly enough, and it was for me and Patrice to be on the Nasty Show. Patrice had not done the festival, at least in that capacity yet. Something it was like that was his big thing to get Patrice at the festival, and me both in that Nasty Show, and like we both did a good job for him. Patrice obviously like destroyed. That's all over YouTube.
Yeah.
That set, and he was amazing, and he's always just taking a liking. So now that festival brings me, you know what I mean? So it didn't matter that I did it at the 5 years in. It's always when it happens. He saw me 5 years later do the Nasty Show, which is a show that I'm, built for essentially. And now it works out that festival's always been good to me ever since. He's not even there anymore, and they still they bring me back. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's always getting that thing. So I don't know. Maybe 5 years ago, my special would have had a bunch of jokes that have been like, I mean, my half hour does. My half hour's got plenty of jokes. I mean, my half-hour special, I think it's funny. I like the work, but I watch and I go, at the end of the day, there's like a Maury Povich joke in there. You know what I mean?
Well, Patrice, actually, the first day I ever did this show in Mass, said that they give you everything too soon and too late.
Yeah.
Everything that's out there. And I know we always end up, anytime you and I get together, it's Patrice's name comes up. And he was a guy that was... incredibly kind to you, incredibly cool to you.
Yeah, I like that I'm in the Thoughts with Him Ever. I remember walking up to Sirius one time, and Tracy Morgan was coming out of, and it was after Patrice had passed away, Tracy Morgan was coming out of Howard Stern's wing over there, and I go, hey, Tracy, and he goes, Jay Boogie. He goes, oh, man, now you got me thinking about Patrice. He goes, that was your man.
Yeah. And I was thinking about him the night of your special as well. I thought he would have got a big kick out of it. Man.
There's going to be a picture of him and a dedication at the end of my special when it rounds up. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Is it just Patrice or any radio guy who put you out there in front of his audience? Big Jay Okerson, everybody. We love him.
I love you, Ronnie.
Proud of you.
Thank you, man.
Philadelphia's own. Everybody have a great Super Bowl Sunday. Enjoy yourself.
And don't forget, fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly.